Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy.
We don't need 5 more seconds of silence.
I know, just seeing how long we could go before it got weird. Hey everybody, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 537. My name is Nick Henderson. I'll be your host this evening. I'm joined by Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
Carlos. Carlos? Do you want me to use your last name or not?
No.
Carlos. Let's go with Carlos. Brolos? I can call you Brolos.
You can call me whatever you want.
All right, Brolos. And Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
See, sometimes I introduce Christopher Guthridge as Crispy. I don't know. It's just
That's weird.
It just kind of depends on my mood.
I'm pretty sure you use my full name more often than not in introductions, but that's
true.
The only time.
It does still feel weird sometimes calling you by your actual name instead of Crispy because I'm just
nobody ever calls me Chris.
I always thought the P was his initials for his last name.
Yeah,
for the longest time.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Not at all. Not even a little.
We do have a friend Chris whose last name starts with P, but we don't call him Crispy. Instead, we call.
No, he gets to be Chris.
He just gets to be Chris.
It's a slight pause. Chris P.
It's weird. It's confusing. Anyways, we need to get right to it because there's actually so much to talk about tonight. We have Dragonball FighterZ, Subnautica, Monster Hunter World, Celeste, all kinds of shit. Carlos has even been playing some indie games, right? Those are both indie games.
I'm kind of excited about.
Well,
one
of them was a beta. One of them was a demo.
I got some pretty good James.
He's got some good James this week.
We got some good James to talk about. Before we do that, is there anything? Anybody seen anything? Done anything? We like to do this occasionally.
The other day, Bernadette, her mom stayed with us.
And
Bernadette was like, "Do you want to go see a movie?" And her mom was like, "Yeah, I want to see the one with the 2 gays."
Wait, Call Me by Your Name?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we exactly knew what she was talking about.
The gay movie?
When it's not about gay people, that's not what the movie's about.
But it is about people.
I've never even heard
gay.
of this movie.
Not necessarily.
It's about.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. Right?
Okay, well then
it's about a gay person. Right?
No,
they're not gay.
I don't want to get into it.
Really? Oh shit!
He fucks a peach.
Oh my god! Really?
Wow! I feel like you can't just stop right there.
No.
All right, so I saw that movie. It was pretty good.
I did
shit.
I did the Lord of the Rings thing.
Nice.
How was that? Was it grueling?
12
No,
hours?
I actually.
Were you into it the whole time?
I'll tell you the most concerning part about it was usually like when I go to a movie because usually I go to the draft house, I'm drinking beer or whatever, and then like 30 minutes into I have to pee. Right? I made it to the end of the 2 towers, and I was like, I still don't have to pee yet. Should I be concerned?
Wow.
Like this is weird. Yeah, it was pretty good. They rolled the credits for all 3 movies, so you had a nice like 20 to 25 minute break in between the movies.
Yeah.
Did they do the food as well?
They didn't do the full 7-course meal this time. This was like a cheaper version of it, but they give you a special menu you can order off. I had 11sies, which was like a sandwich for lunch, which is good. And then I ordered the pizza, and I should have known because the pizza was called the Eye of Sauron. That it would be.
Spicy?
It was literally. I'm shitting you not. The second spiciest thing I think I've ever eaten in my life after the habanero pepper that we had. I was like eating it the entire time, and I was just sweating profusely.
Maybe that's why you didn't pee.
That's where the pee went.
No, this was after I actually peed. I had that for dinner. I had that during the Return of the King. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm glad I did it.
I'm pretty jealous.
I've never done it. I've always wanted to, never done it.
Me too.
It's actually not as bad. It's not as like grueling or like as you would assume it would be.
It's
Sitting
not.
in a
I did
theater.
it too, and I'm not a big fan of the movies. But
if you haven't seen them in a while
so
too, it's
good.
better. Obviously, like if you had just watched them, it'd be bad probably. But man, we got to the theater at like 9:50, and when we got in the car to leave, it was 10 p.m.
I mean, like it's just weird because
10
I
minutes.
love those movies.
Sorry, a.m. 9:50 a.m.
Okay.
I love those movies, and every time I watch Fellowship, by the time they leave Moria, I'm like, oh, that's the end of the movie, and it goes on for another fucking hour. Like,
also, the best part of watching those movies in theaters now is that every time there's something that's like a meme, everybody just loses their shit, like in the theater. Like, so like when you said one does not simply walk into like walking, like everybody just started laughing their ass off, which was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Yeah, that was good. It was a good time.
Yeah.
I started Black Mirror. Woo.
The new season?
No,
Or
just in general.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
How far are you?
I'm only first 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
They're fairly long. I didn't realize those were
What
like
was which episode was the second one?
the one with the guy from
The
Get
game
Out.
show.
With the,
I didn't like that one.
I
I thought it was pretty good.
I didn't like it logistically.
Logistic.
I didn't like that the whole 15 million thing merits in like a couple of months or whatever. Don't think that's possible.
Dude, the more depressing.
You don't
ones
know
are
how
yet
this
to
world
come.
works, Nolan.
Yes, I do. The guy next to him
That
went up
one
by like
with,
1,000 in the course of like.
That guy
6
next to him
months.
was a
Domhnall
lazy
Gleeson.
slob.
All right. Anyway. Yeah, I like that one.
That one's
Anyway,
pretty
we should
fucking-
probably talk
I
about
don't know
video
who that
games.
is.
Sorry, we should
right.
definitely talk about video games. Before we do that, a couple quick things. One, of course, I want to remind everybody about our Discord. If you're not in there yet, we'd love to have you. We had some new people this week join in. If you join, please take a moment to jump into our introductions channel and introduce yourself. We'd love to hear from you. You can find it at discord.gg/4player. 2, I want to let everybody know that I made some updates to the website recently, so if you're curious, go check them out. Just some logistical things to kind of make the website more of a kind of a hub for our show. So if you ever recommend our show to anybody, send them to 4playernetwork.com. It's a great place to go for that. And third, just want to mention this Sunday we're probably going to be getting together for like we haven't nailed down the specifics exactly yet, but we're going to get together for some kind of like celebratory stream because it is our 10-year anniversary of streaming on Twitch.
Jesus.
Or Justin TV, then Twitch. You know what I mean. Oh, geez. So tune in this Sunday. We'll let everybody know exactly what time we're going to start when we kind of have those details nailed down. Or go watch the Super Bowl if you want.
We're not going to do it during the Super Bowl. We're going to do it earlier in the day.
When does the Super Bowl start?
All day.
Yeah,
I thought the Super Bowl thing was an all-day thing.
It is.
Yeah, so of course we're going to do it during the Super Bowl.
I mean, the Super
Not
Bowl
during the actual game.
only lasts like 4 hours tops. That's
I don't know
definitely
how
not
these
all
things
day.
I
work.
don't get it. Who cares about the Super Bowl? XFL's coming back.
I know. It starts at 5:30. I'm just saying, like, we're not going to start at 5:30. We're going to start earlier in the day.
We'll do something earlier in the day, and then if you'd like to leave us to go watch the Super Bowl,
I mean, I'm going to leave us to go watch.
fuck
the
you,
Super Bowl.
Nolan. Fuck you. I'm sorry. I got a little animated. Anyways, Sunday just happens to be both the Super Bowl and our 10-year anniversary.
Choose wisely.
You choose wisely. All right. Like I said, we got a bunch of games to talk about. I want to read some feedback from last week. Let's jump over to that. Chris Davis, thank you. Riceball80 says, okay, and also I read this comment. I'm actually not sure what he's referring to, but he says, watch the intro of Gran Turismo Sport and tell me you don't want to race. You all miss out or can't drive. I don't know. Does anybody remember what he's alluding to? I feel like that's like, did we talk about like intros or something last week? Gaming intros?
Was Brad talking about?
Talk about racing games.
No, we didn't. We almost never talk about racing games.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Or did we? I don't know.
I'll be
no
honest.
idea.
I'll take your word for it, Riceball. I really have no idea what you're referencing.
Gran
But
Turismo is a good game.
Yeah.
oh no, I have no doubt.
good,
It's just
yeah.
I don't think kind of like fighting games. A lot of us in this room don't really play a lot of them. But yeah. Anyways, can you scroll down just a little bit, Chris Davis? Drew327 says, great to hear from you, Brad. Sorry, Brad's not here this week, but hope Henry is doing great. My daughter just turned 1 last month. It gets really fun. Quick takes. 1, I have heard the sentiment in a few places that Kiryu is a little bland in Yakuza 0. You are not wrong. I'll just say stick with him. He has some incredible moments in the rest of the series, just hard to compare to Majima.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to clarify what I said last time in that I don't think Kiryu is bland. I just think he's a little flat. Like he kind of just does like the one thing the whole game, but he is really like that.
But he does that one thing
That
really
one
well.
thing is like cool, you know. It's like Mr. Cool Guy, like badass. It's just he doesn't
deviate from it.
He doesn't
often.
deviate from that, and he doesn't seem to really arc that much.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff's happening around him. So I think there's a difference between a character being very bland and a character being very flat, and I just think Kiryu's a little flat. Not that there's really anything wrong with that.
Is flat like another way of saying like one dimensional?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's not necessarily like a criticism. Some characters are specifically made to be that way because, you know, the story
Yeah.
isn't necessarily about them because they're like supporting characters or something like that. Or, you know, it happens in video games a lot. You know, a character is one-dimensional because they're a stand-in for the player because that's what that story demands. So I didn't mean that to be a criticism in any way. I just, you know, when you're pairing him against Majima, who is a very like deep, kind of more fleshed out arcing character, like you think like I find myself thinking about Majima a little bit more, you know. But I will just say I did just play the side story where Kiryu has to buy the magazine for the kid. Oh my,
that one's so fucking
oh
good.
my god,
it's so
like
good.
What that game does really well is taking a character who's like really, you know, Mr. Cool Guy badass like Kiryu, and then putting him in those situations. That like beautiful.
Thank you. Two, he has a second point. He said, this is totally unrelated to the first one. He said, I think one of the reasons people are assholes to developers when they fail, because we were talking about everybody harking on David Jaffe and why am I totally blanking on
For what?
Cliffy B.
Cliffy B.
Last week when they fail, is that they usually feature frontmen who talk a big game, i.e. Randy Pitchford, Cliff Bleszinski, and so human nature, they like to rub it in their faces when it doesn't work out. Not saying it's right. That is true. I feel like it's sad that's kind of human nature and that's people's reaction. Because
I think it's an unfortunate scenario because it's yes, they made a game that was a failure. For all, you know, in all intents and purposes, this game was not good. But when they were developing the game, I don't think they were like, yeah, let's make a shit game, guys. They honestly, you know, put their time and their effort into make a game they thought people would like. Turns out that wasn't the case.
Also, it's not even necessarily sometimes about whether people like it or not. It's literally just it's about, I mean, it may appeal to some people, just not the wider audience. Also, like, I would rather have a developer out there who's really passionate about something, even if it falls flat and fails, than someone who just doesn't look like they're having fun with doing their job at all. Like, you know, say what you will about Randy Pitchford, the guy looks like he's fucking enthused about everything that he does, even if like half of it's not great.
It's true.
Anyways, moving on. Ichi's Kid says, okay, so this is actually commentary on a conversation we had after the podcast recording, I think.
Yep.
I completely agree with Brad about Shadow of the Colossus. There is something to be said about all the art in the game being replaced, not to mention changing the way a lot of things look. He's obviously referencing the upcoming remake of Shadow of the Colossus. The whole thing just seems like a purposeless remake. Shadow of the Colossus is one of my favorite games, and I just can't help but feel grossed out by this new remake. I'd much rather see all of this time and money being put to something new and original, instead of Sony re-releasing amazing games you've already played. If you want to play the definitive version, I'd recommend playing the PAL version on PCSX2. The emulator has been able to play Shadow of the Colossus in 4K at 60 frames per second for years now, and you get to relish in all the amazing original artwork.
So I think the comment on that, the reason they do these remakes besides a quick buck, is the fact that Shadow of the Colossus came out in 2005.
Yes.
You know, that was 13 years ago almost, 17 or whatever. 12 and a half years, whatever it was.
Not everybody has access to a PC that can run something.
So a couple of
like
things.
That.
So, how many people were born in 2000? They didn't play Shadow of the Colossus when they were 5, and so maybe they missed the remake when it came out on PS3 or whatever. And so
a lot of those people didn't even buy PS3s because by the time they got to the point where they were buying hardware, they just jumped straight to PS4.
So I mean, I think one of the reasons they do release those games is because it gives people an easy way to play a game like that. So right now, unless you own a PS2. Or a PS. So I'm not trying to defend them. I sometimes kind of get upset by like cash grabs. Quote.
I don't think this is a cash. I think there's a lot of
no. Obviously, this is more than just a cash grab. They put a lot. They remade the game, so obviously they have some thought and care into it. And it's kind of like you're saying with developers. Obviously, the people who were remaking this game weren't doing it because I just want money. Obviously, some of them probably like Shadow of the Colossus.
Also, I'm just gonna go at before this game was announced and it was just like rumor or whatever. Like, this was one of those things that, like, was on people's, like, wish list for a long time. Like, I hope they remake Shadow of the Colossus. Like, before they knew this was officially a thing that was happening. It's kind of like the Final Fantasy VII remake. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, I want the remake, want the remake, want the remake. And now it's happening, and people don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And there has been some new stuff that's kind of come to light about this game in the past week since we recorded. In regards to how much of the game is actually being made, new features that are available, like the fact that you can adjust like the time of day and stuff, which you couldn't do in the original. It's just, I don't know. It's more than a remake. It's more than a remaster, but it may not be like a full blown.
I understand where Brad's coming from, though, in that Shadow of the Colossus was the style and visuals of the game are what made a big part of it. And now that when you change those, it might take away some of the effect you got from
But
the
it
original.
also has the potential to be beautiful in a different way. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad way. And a lot of that's just going to come from the fact that the lighting engines have come so far since Shadow of the Colossus, and say what you will, like obviously the lighting in the original had, an effect on people, and it resonated with people very well. But a lot of that was just because that was kind of the limitations of the hardware at the time, and it worked artistically for the game, but even if that was not necessarily their original intention. So I don't know. It's just, you kind of have to wait and see how it shakes out. I'm planning on playing it. I don't know ultimately how I'm going to feel about it, but I have played the original and played the remaster, although I didn't finish the remaster on PS3. But I don't know. It'll be really interesting to play, to see kind of where it falls and how the public's reaction to it is after it gets out there. I heard you two were maybe talking about doing like a side-by-side stream, because Crispy's never played it.
Yeah.
Right.
Carlos has played it.
We were talking about doing a side-by-side stream where I play the PS4 version while Carlos plays the original.
I just want to say, I think that would be an incredible dual stream
that'd be
on our
good.
site.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it too.
I'll play on hard mode. I've always wanted to play hard mode.
That
might be a good handicap.
This
for
is a
someone who's
weird subject because I actually absolutely do get where Brad's coming from. I wasn't really like jumping to agree with him last week when we were talking about it, because I think for me the biggest thing is that, like, if this remake didn't happen, we
wouldn't be finishing.
I probably wouldn't have I probably wouldn't play it. You know what I'm saying? Not like I wouldn't go out like because I absolutely refuse to play the older versions, but I honestly just don't think it would happen. Because I would either have to hunt down a PS2 or a PS3, which I don't have much reason to do that or much resources to do that. I could emulate it, I guess, but I don't know that. I don't know. I've been trying to wrap my head around this for a while.
It's a perfect situation for someone like you.
Yeah. I guess.
Might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening, so I'm going to play it. So we'll see.
And the consensus so far, at least from critics, seems to be that this is a fine version to play if you've never played the original. So
yeah.
But yeah, one way or another, I think that would be awesome to see y'all play them side by side, especially even if it's just from the sense of like people who want to see them side by side. I absolutely, I mean, just to be clear, I do absolutely sympathize with the philosophical argument of you shouldn't fundamentally be changing artists' work, for monetary gain kind of thing. I was trying to think of a comparison in another medium that had done that. Star Wars would be an obvious one, but remake. The problem with Star Wars is that like the changes made were like actually actively detrimental to what was going on in the movie. Yeah. The Killing Joke is a good example. Batman: The Killing Joke. Yeah. They re-released that a couple years ago, and when they did, they completely changed the coloring in the book. I don't know if you've ever read The Killing Joke. I don't remember who the colorist on that book was, but it has a really interesting color scheme, especially towards the end in the carnival, with like a lot of yellows and oranges and purples, and it's like really gauche and just like kind of adds to this whole like fever dream aspect of it. And they kind of like normalized a lot of it. They turned a lot into like a lot of like blues and earth tones, and like they used more realistic coloring. And it's one of those things that like if somebody didn't tell you, you might not even notice right off the bat, just like picking it off the shelf and looking at it. Yeah. But it is something that really kind of changes the tone of the book, and it's one of those things that was done without. It was one of those things that was done without consent of the people who originally made it. Yeah. So like it's weird and it's kind of gross and it's kind of odd to do that. But if that was the only way to read that book, I don't know that I would cast it off completely.
That makes me think of the Arkham Origins, or was Arkham City re-released?
You mean for the HD one for PS4? Yeah,
where they just fucking, it looked like they took the paint can and were like burp, and they just like fucking solid colors.
It's almost like they I don't know, they took off all of the texture. Yeah, and like
just flat colors. And
the BioShock remasters also look worse. Like the water.
Right, anyway, we're going off on some weird tangents. We need to just talk about some video games.
Yeah,
let's talk about games.
anyways, that's all the comments we had this week. I do want to just remind everybody, please, if there's anything that we talk about tonight you want to chime in on, of course, please leave us a comment on the post for this episode at 4playernetwork.com, and next week we will get around to reading it for the on the beginning of the show. Also, our Game of the Year content has started to trickle out. We have 3 videos up so far, a 4th one going up tomorrow, and we should have one coming out each day. It's our personal top 10 list. Brad's is out, Carlos is out, and Nolan's is out.
I'm sorry, mine's so long.
Ed's is tomorrow, Crispy's after that. So, I think mine's on Sunday. So, yeah, check those out. You can find them all on our YouTube channel at 4playernetwork.com or on our Twitter. Whatever you like to use, they're out there. They're on the wild. Go check them out. Where do we want to start? There's actually a lot of new stuff. In fact, 3 of the games this week, or 4 of the games, are all brand new.
Carlos, hit us with an indie game.
You want me to hit you with an indie game?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I played one indie game. It's called Still Not Dead. Are you the only other person besides me that had played Paranautical Activity?
Probably.
So this is like a Paranautical Activity like,
Okay.
in that it's a first-person pixel art, techno music, roguelike.
Yeah.
But instead of being like Binding of Isaac, in which you're like moving through rooms one at a time,
Correct.
the way this game works is it drops you into like this big arena.
Okay.
You have a map at the beginning, and from the beginning you can see like where the items are on the map. Like the health is here, ammo is here, weapons are here.
Okay.
But there's randomly generated walls that are going to block your progress.
Sure.
Before you're able to move on to the next level, you have to kill a certain amount of enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the first stage, you have to kill 14. I guess I can't make that. And you also cannot aim up or down.
Okay.
So you're like tied down to the horizontal plane.
Sure.
Kind of makes the game feel like a twin stick shooter played in first person.
It's like, it's kind of, it reminds me in some ways of like Wolfenstein.
Like old school
bit.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bless you, buddy. So like you're fighting these enemies, you're killing them, you're collecting money that you're gonna use to buy ammo, buy weapons and stuff. And after you kill the enemies, you can make your way to one of the exits, which are marked in green here on the map,
Okay.
and you're able to move on to the next level. You may choose though to stay in the level a little longer to get a little bit more gold. You know, kill a couple more enemies, get a little bit more gold.
Sure.
But if you stay on the level for too long, death spawns in, which is this giant black skull that starts following you, and if it touches you, take like a big.
Makes
It
me think of,
it
like,
doesn't kill you.
It doesn't kill you instantly, but if it touches you for like 2 seconds, you die.
So it makes me think of like Spelunky, where
Yeah,
like
that's what
that's what
Crispy
I
said.
said.
Like the Spelunky goes.
Mm-hmm.
But what's cool about that is that like a lot of the walls in the world are destructible. Like you might not have the weapons to be able to destroy them.
Oh, but you can goad him into like destroying them.
No, because then he's gonna like smash you against the wall. But he won't stop. Like,
But
he'll come at you in a straight line. Like he
Well, that's what I'm
won't
saying.
stop.
You can put a wall between you and him,
Yeah.
and he'll go through that wall and break it so you can access something. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I guess-
That's actually that's a strategy I use in Crypt of the Necrodancer, which we were talking about before the stream. And certain levels, a dragon will be the enemy, and he will bust through like any wall. Besides, there's like one texture he can't go through. But yeah, you can use that to your advantage. You can use him to knock down certain walls and stuff. Yeah.
But like death will never stop following you. And like I said earlier, like the game randomly generates walls for every map. Like
Sure.
even if you know where stuff is. So you'll see like death is chasing you, and you'll see like an exit off in the not the exit, but you'll see the exit on your map, and you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna make my way towards the exit. And once you get there, there's like a big ass wall blocking your path, and you're like, fuck, I have to go around. So you like go around the whole fucking wall, and you make your way around. You head towards the exit, and right as you get to the exit, fucking death like knocks the wall in front of you, Kool-Aid Man style.
Yeah. Is that him right there?
Yeah, big black skull.
When you were telling me about this, I didn't think the level was as like big as it is. That's fucking dope.
Yeah, and it's big and it's open. You can also jump, and there's like a stamina bar, which kind of adds another like little level to the game, because there's walls that you can jump over. But if you don't have stamina, you can't jump. So a couple times it's happened to me that like death is chasing me, and I see the exit or some health that I badly need, and there's a little wall in front of it. And I run towards, because I'm sprinting away from death, and I make it to the wall, and I try to jump, but I can't because I don't have any stamina, and I fucking die.
Dude.
Okay, but like once you make it to the exit, you're able to make it to the next level, which is gonna have, it's gonna be very similar. It's gonna be a different layout, and you're gonna have to kill a higher number of enemies.
Sure.
But in between each level, you have to, like every other level, you can pick a blessing, which is like a perk. And in the levels that you don't pick a blessing, you pick a curse. So each level you get a blessing or a curse, right?
Yeah.
So like, and they're pretty cool. They're not the standard like move faster, shoot faster, jump higher stuff. Like they do some pretty cool shit. Like a couple of the more interesting blessings I've seen is like every time you jump, you throw a bomb, or like if your weapon's out of ammo, you can throw it and it's like a Molotov. And some of the curses that I've seen are things like you can't shoot your weapon for 20 seconds after starting a level, or there'll be like a second death that spawns in and that moves slower.
Moves slower. Okay.
Or like if you take 30 health, if you take 30 damage in this stage, you'll have to select an additional curse next time the thing comes up. And whenever you select a curse, I don't know if you saw on the screen, but there was like additional options at the bottom.
You can also levels, or
sorry?
You mean when you were in between levels?
Yeah, like in the little choose your curse screen, you get to pick from 3 curses, and at the bottom there's a couple additional options. One of them lets you re-roll the 3 curses available for some health.
Sure.
So you spend some health to get different choices. You can also let the game pick a curse for you, which gives you some money. And I can't remember what the third option is. I think it's just a question mark. I guess it's a random choice between those two.
Yeah.
So what led you to playing? Just out of curiosity, is this something that you've been keeping an eye on, or?
It was on the like new releases
for $1.
It was on the like new releases thing on Steam, and I was like, that looks pretty cool. It looks like Paranormal Activity. I like that particular first person pixel art techno music roguelike genre. And then I saw that it was on sale for $1, and I was like,
and the price was right.
But I'm having a lot of fun with it.
For that, you could have bought 2 copies of Bad Rats.
Dude, I've gifted like $10 worth of Bad Rats. I don't own the game.
Wow.
It just struck me the other day. I don't own Bad Rats, and I bought like 15 copies of it.
Jesus Christ.
But this game is cool.
Well, yeah, you'll probably have it by the end of the night.
So what's the other? You played a demo as well that was out there.
Yeah. The other demo I played, and I actually streamed the whole demo on Tuesday with pretty impressive voice acting.
Okay.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I'll be the judge of that.
Don't mean to brag.
Yeah, I don't mean to brag. But the demo I called is for a project that was kickstarted. It's called Stygian Reign of the Old Ones. And this is like a Kickstarter demo. Obviously, the updates that they've been putting on the website are way more advanced than when I got to play.
Sure.
So there's some features that weren't in there, I guess. But this is basically like an old school top-down or isometric role-playing game, like very focused on story. I'm guessing kind of like Baldur's Gate or Fallout or Planescape Torment.
Divinity.
It's very Lovecraft. No, it's not Divinity. Divinity's focus is more combat. It's more about like exploration, talking to people, reading item descriptions, and solving puzzles and shit.
Divinity is pretty exploration and socially focused too.
Yeah, but I mean, the combat of that game is like the biggest appeal.
Sure.
Yeah, but like in this game, it's very Lovecraftian. Like the setting is that the town of Arkham, which is the town that your character lives in, has been like taken from reality and brought into a whole different dimension. So like now everyone's like living this survivor lifestyle. You know, they're like obviously in a strange world and they're trying to like stay alive, and you're in there trying to make sense of.
I'm trying to figure out what the people
everything.
on the screen are doing right now. Are they dancing?
They're like killing people.
Are they killing people?
Right.
They were dancing, but then they started like strangling each other.
They're like a bunch of cultists.
But as an RPG, this game is really, really cool. Like I was talking to Crispy on the road, and
some of the stuff you were telling me about was like really interesting.
Yeah, like when you go to create your character, there's a whole bunch of like genre archetypes to choose from. Like there's the rich person, the soldier, the private investigator, actor, whatever. Each with their own respective subclasses. Like I remember the actor had like stage actor, film actor, busker, juggler.
Fluffer.
Yeah, shit like that. I mean,
wasn't one of them a stripper?
Yeah, it was like a burlesque.
Those are different.
Yeah. But
just so we're clear,
when you create your character, you also have to pick your alignment, which is kind of like in D&D, you know, true, neutral, good. But in this case, it's more like attitudes. Like you pick one for your character, and the choices available were things like materialistic, hedonistic, religious, rational, humanistic, things like that. And in the game, you have your health bar and your sanity bar. And your sanity decreases whenever you watch like horrific stuff. And the way you get sanity back,
Eternal darkness.
yeah, the way you get sanity back is by role playing to your character's alignment.
This is what was cool.
So I was playing like as a religious dude when I play this. So I go up and I talk to I go up and I talk to a prostitute, and there's an option, there's a dialogue option that is like, you should repent for what you're doing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I say that to her, and since I'm role playing to what my character is supposed to be, I get some sanity back. And what's cool is that you have
Is
to
the sanity
figure
like
it
a
out.
meter, so you can like physically see how?
Yeah, you get like a plus.
It's like
2
a second
sanity.
health bar.
But
Oh, okay.
what's cool about it is that you have to deduce it on your own. Like there's no little
Sure.
prompt at the end that tells you like, oh, this is the option for your
It's not
character.
like
You
Mass
have to pick
Effect.
it. You
Yeah,
have to
not
figure
Mass
it out.
Effect symbols that you know which one you're
you have to
picking.
figure it out through context.
You have to really think about what your character would actually say in that situation, and like that's pretty cool. I really like that. I think that's an interesting approach to like a alignment quote unquote system that
and it's easier to understand than like
that's a little
neutral
more,
or good. Like what is neutral in this world?
It's
I
not
don't know
very,
what neutral is, but it's easy for me to understand like what something materialistic is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make
if it's
some
more
money.
like specific values instead of just like this esoteric good bad scale. It adds a lot more depth than something like say Renegade and Paragon and Mass Effect, where like one is good, one is bad, generally speaking, and like in dialogue you'll have like the good option or the bad option, and then like the 4 neutral options. But like it kind of just like points it out, like, hey, if you want Paragon points, pick this one. You know, this one you have to think a little bit more about it, and you're rewarded with like a valuable resource, not just like this kind of esoteric number that maybe affects the story or doesn't, but it's like health, you know. Sanity. But
So when as your sanity drops, though, what are the effects it has?
I mean, this is very incomplete. It's like a demo of
Yeah.
a work in progress. I'm guessing you die if it reaches 0. That's as much as I know. There's a lot of systems in the game that either aren't implemented or aren't explained, so I couldn't figure them out.
I'm just wondering if they'll eventually add like hallucinations and
No, there's cool stuff like the way magic works in the game, like spells and stuff. Like every spell and ability has a pretty unique like critical failure set of requirements. Like anytime you do an ability that like it's based on agility, like throwing or something, it'll do a check against like your agility skill, and if you fail that, it does like a very specific and unique and like lore appropriate thing. Like off the top of my head, the one that I can remember is this ability called Evil Eye, which I think all characters start with. It's like you give your opponent an evil glare, and it gives them like a damage debuff.
Sure.
But from the description, I saw that it said, oh, but if your character is paranoid at the moment you cast this, you will instead cast it on the strongest member of your party.
Oh.
It's like you're paranoid.
Yeah.
You're like
gotta
you're
be
not trusting of
right.
your. I'm glad Chris played the combat footage. I'm gonna die towards the end of this because I was playing like really dumb.
Per usual.
I do really like, the more I see of it, I'm really digging like the visual style of the game.
yeah, this whole thing sounds really cool to me.
I like how these zombies are like skipping or
yeah, they're like
No, but, like-
insane asylum patients or something.
Like when you go into combat, like it takes you to a different screen, right? Like you're not fighting in the environment that you encounter the enemies.
yeah, it's like a classic turn-based
Yeah, like
RPG.
Final Fantasy or whatever takes you out. So at any point during combat, you can like fall back and retreat. You see those purple hexagons?
Yeah.
If you move a character back to them, you're able to retreat and exit combat. And I mean, the enemies are still going to be there in the world, like blocking your path. Like in this case, I wasn't able to like move past them without triggering this fight because I didn't have high enough stealth.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show it on the footage. But if you stay in the fight long enough, or if you meet certain conditions that I don't quite know what they are, it'll create some green hexagons on the opposite side.
Oh, to
And
run
if
past.
you make it to those,
Then
you can
flee
like
by the other
you can,
side
like,
of 'em?
push
Right.
through and make it
Right.
through that combat.
Without
event.
having
so
to actually
you get
see
to
it.
like win the combat without having to kill everybody.
And
Which is another thing that like not a lot of RPGs do. They like if you're in combat in an RPG, it's only going to end when you either run away, in which case usually you have to go back and do it again anyway,
Yeah.
or you kill everybody.
And what I've been reading, because I've been following this game for a bit. What I've been reading from their updates in their website is that either running away or like pushing through is what you typically want to do. Like it's not good for you to like see combat to its end.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of these enemies you're fighting are not enemies that you.
So it's not necessarily going to be like a grind heavy game. It's going to be combat's more of a last resort.
A lot of this stuff that we've talked about, like, kind of reminds me of like the Call of Cthulhu tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
Which seems to be, I think, probably where they're pulling a lot of inspiration from.
Yeah.
And that's consistent there too. Like, you don't want to be like doing these overt like combats or like using too much magic. Like, everything has a consequence and you need to be like very mindful about what you're doing at all times. For sure. Which sounds really, really cool to me.
So, before we move on from this, remind everybody what the name of the game is? Stygian?
Stygian, Reign of the Old Ones. Yeah. It's not coming out until next year, probably.
Gotcha.
Well, there's a demo on Steam.
It's on Steam. It's on Steam. It was like originally a Kickstarter, a backers-only demo, I guess, but now they've opened it up to everyone.
Cool.
But from the updates that they have on their page, like, there's a lot of things missing from the demo.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
it's really good. I talked Crispy into trying it out. It's like
I might stream the demo one of these days.
Cool.
Yeah. It's really good.
Thank you. All right, so now we got some major releases to talk about. Of these three, I don't know which one we're going to start with. Should we start with Dragon Ball, since we played a little bit of that right before the show? It's kind of fresh in our minds.
Sure.
Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I know people brought to my attention, I keep calling it Dragon Ball FighterZ, because that's just how I like it.
Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's what this game's called.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be clear. I don't play any fighting games. This is
you made that obvious earlier.
We know.
Thanks, Carlos. You fucking jerk. So yeah, we were streaming this before the show, playing some local fights, and I've been playing this a little bit off the stream. This game...
You've been playing the single player off the stream, right?
So I've been doing a lot of the training, and then I jumped into the... and then kind of exploring the lobby, and then I jumped into the story mode to see what that was all about. I having played some local battles against you guys, I feel like my time would have been much better spent actually going into like online fights with people. Which is fine too, because there's not a whole lot you earn from doing the story mode other than getting the kind of the fan service and seeing a story play out. You do unlock an extra character when you beat the story mode, but other than that, like, for the most part, the roster is like completely available to you from the start.
It's kind of a small roster, though.
Yeah, it is kind of. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's small or just because the cast of Dragon Ball
seems
is so
small to me for like something that's trying to combine like different series.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of people missing.
The thing is, there's like, as you know, most of us in here are at the very least are familiar with Dragon Ball, and a lot of us are
Where's Chi-Chi?
Have been fans of the show, since we were young, and Dragon Ball Z has a long storied cast of characters, and when you see the roster, like, my first reaction was like, oh man, I can probably pick off right off the top of my head like 10 characters that I think are glaring omissions from this roster.
Yeah.
But obviously that's just the nature of game releases these days. I'm sure they're bound to get DLC, purchasable characters and whatnot down the road. I think the roster they have in place just from the get-go is pretty damn good. But what I will say is that as someone who does not play fighting games, one, because it's just not my preferred genre, two, because I'm clearly not very good at them, man, this game is fun as hell. Even if you have no idea what you're doing, just going into a fight and, like, once you get like a few basic moves down, you can do so much. And I think, like, in the past, like, I've played a few of the other Dragon Ball Z fighting games over the past few years, just kind of dabbled in them, and I've always felt like they weren't very good. One, because I just feel like the style of action you always see in Dragon Ball Z is like a really hard thing to capture in outside of that medium, right? Like, especially when you're talking about like fully modeled characters on a screen, like, they just feel so sluggish and
generally they do, yeah.
The characters just, I think, look weird when they're like rendered as full character models instead of the style we get with Dragon Ball FighterZ.
When you're looking at what appears to be a 3D model in a 2D space, that has the more, I don't want to say cell shaded, but the more like kind of just what we're used to when it comes to computer graphics.
In the past, they've always strived for like trying to make their character models look as like 3D character models look as good as they can or as close as they can. But like they clearly took a very different. This is an Arc Systems Work. God, I can't say that. Arc System Works, right?
Yep.
Game. They have a very storied history in the fighting genre, and they always make these like really, really beautiful fighting games. And this, like, having seen
I remember,
the way this game looks,
I remember me and Nicky Poo over here. Oh. We were sitting at the Microsoft press conference this past E3.
Yeah.
And they showed the first trailer for this, and I was like, Nick, this is just a cinematic trailer. It's not what the game looks like. Because I'm like, that looks like the fucking anime. This is not what the game looks like.
There's
you
no
wrong.
fucking way.
And then all of a sudden they kept showing more and more gameplay, and I was like, what the fuck?
Like,
this looks like the fucking anime.
And then we went to their booth, and then we played it, and we were like, what the fuck?
And just, it looks
this
fucking
is sorcery.
good.
It looks so fucking
game.
good.
Yeah.
This game, first of all, one thing too, like I said, this is a game all about. I think as far as fighting games go, this is a game about accessibility. Like you don't have to necessarily be great at fighting games to like be able to jump in and do some really fucking cool stuff in any fight. All these fights that we play, even if you have no idea what you're doing, like they all look like.
They look like
they look
Dragon Ball fights.
They look like Dragon Ball fights from the freaking show. Yeah. And that's not just because when you occasionally land like a super, it pulls it off, but like mechanics that are built into it, like when you build up your meter and then you can tap triangle and circle or triangle circle at the same time, and then they'll do the zippy like dashing around, warping around the screen. Which my first instinct was, wow, that's gonna be like cheap as hell and like a legitimate fight. But when you have two people playing against each other and you're both utilizing that at the same time, it turns into what we see on the show so often, which is where they're like they're coming together and they're like just zipping all around the fucking map, doing all this crazy shit, and it's like I never would have thought something like that would translate to a video game, much less translate to a video game in such a like usable way.
It would suck if the game was difficult to where like if two new players picked it up, none of them was able to like pull off anything flashy during the whole
it would have been boring as hell. But like my first match I jumped into this game, I didn't know how to pull off any super moves, but I was still like, it still felt like super fast paced, super like well animated, and like fun to watch, fun to be a part of. Like all the feedback feels really, really great. Every time I play it, I'm like, I can't believe they translated the style of action from Dragon Ball into a fighting game. I think it's unbelievable. It kind of makes, in my opinion, most things that came before it kind of totally irrelevant. Wait,
I wouldn't say irrelevant. Just more of a it truly captured the show in a fighting game.
I don't remember when it was, but there was some point over the years where I just decided, like, I don't think Dragon Ball is gonna translate to a video game. I think I'm gonna stop hoping for it. I'm not gonna play these anymore. But man, this game is crazy. I also really, really love the assists and like the fact how you go into every battle with 3 characters. So which is great because like it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna pick one character and fight one character and that match is over. I think that that's becoming fairly common these days. But like being able to have like essentially having 3 health bars and then being able to switch between them on the fly, and it's not like you kill one character and it's immediately replaced by another. It's you can pick and choose when that character gets summoned into battle.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is cool. So you're like managing 3 health bars. So if you're getting low on one character, you can quickly try and bring in another character and then totally turn the tide of that one particular fight, which I think is fantastic. Sometimes like the careful switching of characters in a battle can be like just as important a strategy as which combos you're trying to pull off.
Yeah, and then you got those moves where you can knock the other player's character out of the fight, and they can't switch characters for like a certain amount of time. Like that's kind of cool.
There were several times where we were like panicking, like, I can't switch characters. I can't switch characters. I'm like, oh, they've been locked.
Yeah. I wish someone. I don't think any of us are really that familiar with other Arc System works.
No.
We haven't
they're
played
famous
much,
for
like,
BlazBlue, right?
BlazBlue or anything like so I really wonder how this compares to those games. Like I wonder if this is like how much of this is ground up new work and how much of this is just kind of like tried and true mechanics that they've used before with a DBZ coat of paint on it. I mean, after
that
playing
that's a
this,
bad
I feel like their other games must be pretty good.
No,
right?
I hear great things.
But-
From what I've gathered, I feel like most people that have played this game and talked about it in comparison
Guilty Gear,
have
of
made it
course.
seem like this game is maybe more accessible than something like Guilty Gear or Blaz Blue.
Right. What
Which
do you
is-
guys think about the fact that they took Super Saiyan out, like they took transformations out as a mechanic?
That was going to
Yeah.
bring that up. I think one of my biggest disappointments in this game, mechanically speaking, is like I feel like starting as a just like especially if you're playing like a character that has a transformation like a Saiyan or like Frieza or something, you would start with their base character, and like as the battle continued, you would eventually build up a meter or something and be able to transform. Like that's one of the exciting things about the show is seeing all these characters kind of evolve and change and transform in fights, which is cool.
Yep.
That's such a, like,
I think the
iconic
reason
part.
I think the battles are just too fast paced, and like you can essentially, you saw how fast Carlos wiped the floor with me earlier. Like a character can go down so fast, like you can essentially eliminate a character in like a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Which would essentially make transformations kind of moot, and you would never end up seeing things like Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks or whatever. But yeah, that is kind of a bummer. I was like, you could play as like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and I was like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool if you could just play as Gohan and then you earn the ability to transform?
Also, if they
that
were
would be
as
cool.
important to like the progress of the fight as you want them to be, every character would have to have access to some kind.
Yeah.
of
Well, no, and they've done
Saiyans
that.
would be
They've,
the best.
they've done that in previous games where when you could transform, Goku, Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, whatever, other characters who didn't have those normal transformations could still like power up
They could do
to
like
a new level.
Kaioken or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
no, and that was a lot of the Z fighters had a Kaioken like
Yeah.
ability.
There's so much really good, like, you think there's like some pretty obvious omissions from the game, but they end up getting played into like assist characters in really cool ways. Like everyone's talking about Chaozu, and then but Chaozu gets worked in as like an assist for Tien, which is cool.
Nobody's talking about Chaozu.
Captain Ginyu is actually like
That is cool. How
he pulls
it's like
in
the
each-
whole Ginyu
yeah,
Force.
his super attacks can pull in different.
Not even his super attacks, just like some certain regular attacks of his will bring in other members of the Ginyu Force.
yeah, which I think is super freaking cool.
I love Android 18. I wish I could play as Android 17 though, but I know those two characters would just be
like the same.
the same thing.
Yeah, they'd
but
just
it would be
palette
kind of
swap.
cool if like they did like a Smash Brothers
Like
thing
an
where
Ice
like
Climbers?
where it was just or more like think of like Robin in the newest Smash Brothers where you could just like change skins and it was like a different character.
Yeah,
you know?
that would be cool.
Palette swap.
Yeah, just essentially a palette swap.
Yeah.
Couple things I do.
I want to know how the single player is.
Yes, so that's. Whew. All right.
What's up with this story?
Okay, first of all, one thing I want to say, I think the lobby system is really cool. I was a little kind of shocked by how many like menus and shit you have to get through, and how difficult it is to actually find a viable lobby and whatnot. Every time I boot it up, it's kind of a pain in the ass. But when you get into the lobbies are really cool. Like the way it's set up, and it's all kind of like fan service-y. So like you can actually walk around the arena, you see other people with their characters walking around, and you can actually go to different parts of the lobby, which are kind of spread around the perimeter of the building or of the structure to do like training or local fights or arcade. It's just like a really, I think, clever way of doing the lobby system. But story mode. So I've heard mixed things because some people seem to really like it. I can tell you right now, it is not what I was expecting. This is just someone like I said who has no prior experience really with Arc System Works style games. I think people have said if I did have more history with them, I maybe would have expected this. I was expecting this to be like they would actually have like actual animation, like just anime straight up as cutscenes that would bridge gaps between fights. Nope. The story is actually like rendered with the engine used for the actual fighting game, and you'd think that would look really good because the fights look fucking out of this world beautiful. This engine is just not made for telling presenting cutscenes, and it's very dialogue heavy, and like I made this comparison in Discord and got kind of taken down a little bit because people were like, it's not running at 10 frames per second, Nick. And I know it's not. There are technical reasons why it's not really running at a low frames per second, but it has the same effect. It does not look good when it's in motion. It looks kind of stuttery. It looks slow. And like I said, a lot of the cutscenes are literally just dialogue. and it's mostly fan service that you get to see characters you wouldn't normally see in the show interact. But like the actual like premise for the story just feels really lame and contrived. Like the game starts and Bulma's there and she's talking to you and you're Goku, and then Goku's like, wait, who are you? And she's like, what do you mean who am I? And he's like, wait, who am I? And you're like, oh no, Goku has amnesia and you are Goku. Wow. But like Goku's like trapped inside of his own body, but he can't actually like you're playing the soul of someone else who's in Goku's body.
What?
And there's this contrivance of like, oh, we can pass that soul from between people because the soul is the only one who can fight. I don't know. It's fucking. Oh my god, it's bad.
But
and on top of that, it's like I hear it's like a 10 to 12 hour thing. I don't know. I'm gonna give it some more time because, like I said, I'm probably only like an hour and a half into this. I'm gonna give it because the other stuff, because you're actually, the way it's set up, you're going through maps and you have turn. It's set up like you can jump between maps, right? And there's branching paths, and you can pick which way you want to go and who you want to fight. And you're trying to, and you can actually like save character. Like if you choose one fight, you might be fighting to save Krillin, who would then join your team afterwards. You're trying to kind of go around this map and recruit people, which is cool. But in between those, you have to watch like really lengthy
Dingle-chan says each cutscene's like 20 minutes, like the length of an episode of Dragon Ball.
I think 20 minutes is a bit of an exaggeration, but it's a lot of like tapping X to like just.
You have the tap X for each one.
I haven't started the story mode yet, but like I've seen little bits and pieces, and the stuff that's like happening in them seems like something I'd be really into.
Maybe.
Like,
I mean,
is it? I mean, it's like a lot of just like weird scenarios of like, hey, these two characters never interacted before. What kind of funny thing would they do?
Like the character that kind of sparks the whole story is Android 16, and he just kind of shows up, and you're just like, wait, you're dead. Who are you? And then like there are clones of all the Dragon Ball Z characters like scattered in the world, so you have to go fight all these clones. Let me just say, having played Injustice 2's campaign last year, it ain't that.
But I don't think it needs to be, or even necessarily should be. I mean, like Injustice 2 does a really good job of what it does, but I mean, it's taking characters that don't really exist in a singular storyline and then just like kind of doing something different with them.
Well, that's what this is trying to do as well.
I know, but this I don't know. There's a lot more flexibility with those characters, I think, to tell kind of like a more serious story that is its own thing, that runs counter to other stories that have been told about this character, because there's been so many different stories about Batman and about Superman. Yeah. Like you can do a lot of stuff. What can you do seriously with these characters that isn't just the show? You know what I mean? So if you're not gonna do the different arcs of Dragon Ball, which we absolutely don't need again, like every Dragon Ball fighting game, except like Xenoverse had a really cool idea to do that, you know, the whole time travel thing, you know, that was neat.
I'm not even necessarily knocking like what they're trying to do.
Right.
I think it's their presentation that is the biggest
technical
problem.
presentation.
The technical presentation is just a slog, and it's not. So far, I'm not having really fun with that aspect of it. When you get into a fight, though, you quickly kind of remember, man, this is what I'm playing this for. I want to get to all these fights, and I would like to get through it so I can earn, because when you beat the game, you unlock Android 21, which is the original character they made for this game. I would obviously like to play as the original character, or at least see what the character's like. But man, 12 hours of what I've played so far seems like a real big ask.
Is there like an arcade mode? Just play that.
Yeah, there is an arcade mode, but you don't.
You got to play the story.
But like,
Android 21.
Yeah, that's kind of. And then the only other two unlockable characters are the blue Goku, blue Vegeta.
Yep.
Or Goku Blue, Vegeta Blue, and then Android 21. So, and Android 21 is the only character you unlock by beating the story. So it feels like kind of an.
What's her deal?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't gotten far enough to really learn that.
She's really into.
But she looks cool, and like I would like to, you know, I would like to kind of deepen my, you know,
Why does she have a tail?
More of Dragon Ball.
Because she's a
Saiyan.
No, she's not.
She's an android.
Copy of a Saiyan.
Yeah, but it's not even like a Saiyan tail.
Saiyan.
All I know is that when I get into an actual fight, man, this game is dope as hell, and it is.
when we gonna money match?
Well,
Back next week.
No, I'm not. No, I was feeling very good about my abilities today, and then you pick up a controller, and then I suddenly feel like I never should play this game in public ever again.
It's all that King of Fighters from back in the old country.
Sure.
The old country.
He means South Austin.
Oh man, yeah. But yeah, Dragonball FighterZ is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Is anybody else here gonna give it a serious go or?
I bought it.
Oh,
so I just haven't had much time.
Crispy,
to play
let's play some matches.
I had some birthday. So I was excited because I had some birthday money. So I got Dragon Ball and I got Monster Hunter, and then I also paid off the fucking special edition of Yakuza 6 that comes with the little whiskey
Video
glass.
games,
like,
man.
yeah.
Oh shit, a whiskey.
Yeah, it comes with like a little tumbler glass. Like
That's
I can't
awesome.
wait. That shit's gonna be dope.
Well, since you brought up Monster Hunter,
You want to hear about it?
I want you. Okay, I'm
bit.
a little scared to hear you talk about this because I've been like having this itch to like play. I have no business playing
It's
this
pretty
game
cool,
right
man.
now,
It's pretty cool.
but I really want to fucking play this game.
Redbox.
It's pretty cool.
It's not about
man.
the money, Carlos. It's about the time.
Monster Hunter, there was... The first thing I'll say about this is there were some questions I had about how online matchmaking was going to work in the final product, because like most of that system was like completely stripped out of the beta.
Sure. Yeah.
They just had like a little lobby system where you could hop into missions with people, because you didn't have any of the social spaces or any of the other like social systems that are in the game. By the way, the canteen in the research center is fucking the best part of this game. I
Sure,
fucking
whatever
love
that means.
the cat kitchen. You'll see
The cat
whenever
kitchen.
you go. So there's this little kitchen here in the main. Yeah, the canteen run by cats. The Meowscular chef and
Oh
his
my
cats.
God, look at that.
Oh, it's so great. It's way better than like the little like oven thing in the camps like
Yeah.
we saw in the beta. I love that. At the end, he's gonna put the garnish on. He's like really careful. He's like, and then they're like, yeah, it's done. It's so good. It's so fucking good. God damn it.
Why are they cats?
Why not?
I mean,
They're palicos. That's like a whole race in this game.
Oh, okay.
Palicos.
There we go.
Yeah, like say I got a little cat buddy who hangs out with me, right?
Nice.
And he's wearing better armor than I am. But so now that the game is out and all of those systems and social areas and all that stuff is there, I think it's better than I thought it was going to be, and also maybe a little worse than I thought it was going to be. It's a little I've there's been a little bit of a learning curve into like getting in a game with friends, you know what I mean? Especially if you're doing like story missions, because like there is an option to invite friends to the game, like using the actual PSN, friend interface. But when you do that, it only invites them into your game session, which is basically your instance of the game, which can have up to like, I think it's like 16 people or something in it, you know? So like basically you're like, think of like Destiny, but if there were, hundreds of different towers that only had like 12 people in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that. So all the other like actual like mission pairing up and going out and doing stuff is handled completely in the game through its own systems. And there's some weird quirks to it too. Like yesterday I was trying to play with my roommate and I posted a quest. He accepted to join the quest. We were both paired up. They do this weird thing where like you're in a lobby basically ready to go, but you're still in the game. So you can run around and like switch your equipment, go to the canteen, like do whatever you need to do. But they have like, they show you who all's in your team and they're loading the mission for you in the background. And then you're supposed to like hit the touchpad and then hit triangle to depart. But they also have in the actual space of the world, they have like gates, they have like doors that you can go to that take you out into the world that normally, like if you have a mission ready to go, you go to the gate, it's like go to mission. You just hit it and it takes you off into the mission, right? So I was paired up with my roommate. We were all ready to go. I went to the gate instead of hitting the triangle and it sent me off into the mission and disbanded the party.
Oh no.
So like it was weird that was like an option. Like I don't know. That's kind of emblematic of a lot of this game. There's a lot of menus and systems that are a little finicky at first. It's a little like trying to figure out how the game wants you to do things because it's not always intuitive, but like it makes sense once you get it down. But all that aside, the game itself, hell of a lot of fun.
I know.
I've been having a great time. the story is, pretty whatever. It's very much just
pretty basic
pretense for getting you out into the world to kill monsters. It's like, oh, we're part of, we're going to the new world as part of a guild expedition, and we're the 5th fleet of hunters to make this crossing in 30 years or something like that.
I mean, sometimes that's kind of all that's necessary. That doesn't even make it a bad story. Like,
no,
we'll talk about
it's
Subnautica
not.
in a while, but like the setup for that game is super simple. But I also find it really engrossing, even though it's really
it definitely just serves its purpose. You know, it's there to do what it's. I don't think anybody's ever gone to Monster Hunter for deep and engaging storytelling. Or
Probably
anything.
not.
But the surface details that they do fill in, like the actual world that they make, and kind of like the little glimpses of this culture that you get, are really cool, really interesting. The game, I like how it takes every opportunity to kind of like have fun, like even down to little details that you'll probably never even use, like when you sit at the canteen, you can hit a button that just brings up like emotes, so you can sit there and like just pretend you're getting drunk at the fucking canteen,
Nice.
Little shit like that like doesn't affect gameplay, doesn't need to be there, but the game does a lot of little stuff like that. It always has. I mean, like this whole series has always had this like neat little charm to it, like how you can, so like your main resource for increasing your stamina is like cooking meat, right?
Yeah.
But you have to actually cook it. So there's a little mini game that you play where you're fucking barbecuing the meat, and it plays a fun little song like boop 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 boop, and you have to like
it, right?
yeah, you have to listen to the song and watch the meat for like the color change, and you have to hit a button at the right time to make like a well done steak. If you do it too soon, you get rare. If you do it too late, you get burnt, and like the margin on it's like really sharp. So you have to like like you have to hit it like just right. It just fun little touches like that keep this from being something that could have been a slog. It could have gotten a little. I haven't played this nearly as much as I have Destiny. I really liked the time I spent with Destiny 2. But by the time I got to the raid and beat the raid once, I was kind of like, all right, cool. I'm done, and I set it aside. I haven't even like thought about it since.
How does this feel in terms of like, do you have a sense for like how much you have ahead of you in this game, or?
Not really. I mean, I know that like I'm about to hit a point where, so I've been doing all low rank stuff. I'm about to hit a point where it's going to start sending me back to go through areas and hunt monsters that I've already done, but they're going to be high rank, so they're going to be harder and you're going to get more loot out of them. I don't know what this game does in terms of endgame. I don't think there's really anything quite like, like a raid or something in a traditional MMO. So I don't know. I really don't know what the long-term viability of this is going to be. I know that like the actual gameplay loop itself
there is an end game
pretty...
though. Like, this has an end game, like, right? This is.
I mean, I'm sure it does. I don't know what it is though. Gotcha. I don't really know the details about that, and I kind of don't want to. I kind of just want to get there and be surprised.
Yeah.
But the actual loop is a little more engaging than something like Destiny. Destiny's cool, but like at the end of the day, you're still just running out there shooting, jumping, throwing a ult, get a new gun, get new armor, do more jumping, do more shooting,
Yeah.
Here, like, the difference between weapons and the difference between armor and the difference between, going on an expedition to hunt for mats or going on an expedition to actually, like, take down a creature or, like, capturing a creature, like these are a little more involved, so I feel like that loop is going to sustain itself for a little longer than something like that.
Have you been soloing at all, or has it all been multiplayer stuff?
I've been doing mostly multiplayer. I solo when I have to.
I mean, I think multiplayer is the only, not the only way to play this game, but you get so much more out of it.
I've seen a lot of people
you can definitely solo this game, and it definitely scales differently depending on if you're alone or if you're with other people. I don't know. Like I this kind of game, I really like the social aspect of it. I really like that. This is the kind of game that I'll be playing for a few hours one night, and then like it'll be 2 a.m, and I'll get match made with like some people in England who are just getting up and starting their day, and like they'll be like some really cool dudes who I just like get to talking to, and they teach me something about the game, you know, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That I don't really get from a lot of other games or something like
Sure.
that. I really value that. So I like to play online as much as possible. It's not always feasible. It's not always an option. You could absolutely play this game solo. I know Brad is like trying to play this as solo as he possibly can.
He's going around with the cats. Is that how it is when you're solo? You still have other characters with you.
When you're solo,
NPCs.
you have your Palico with you.
Yeah.
You can, I think you can find them, or like sometimes they just randomly show up. There will be other Palicos who come to help you. So you'll actually have like a party of cats who are helping you out, which is cool. If you're playing with one other person, you both have your Palico partners with you to kind of fill out those spaces. But then once you put a third person in, they go away.
Yeah.
I think. I don't remember how it works. But god damn, like there's just, I don't know, it's just a really fun game that like isn't at all concerned about taking itself too seriously. Like they're like, I mean, you just saw me jump like a 30-foot drop and land normally, you know, like, because what would the point of having fall damage here be, you know, like,
it'd be silly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like the weapons are like really cool, really just fucking gonzo. Like this thing I'm using is the one I was using in the beta. It's the charge blade where it's a sword and shield, and then you put the sword in the shield and it becomes a giant fucking axe that deals like lightning damage.
Yeah.
It's really cool. You know, the insect glaive is a really unique weapon that my roommate has been using, that Brad's been using, that like honestly, like that's what's great about this game compared to something like say Destiny or, you know, maybe even to a certain degree like Diablo, is that like the equipment doesn't just change your character or like your stats as much as like it completely changes how the game is played. Because like the insect glaive when you're playing this game is like playing fucking Shadow of Colossus. Like you're just jumping around, mounting monsters, like doing all this. You're doing shit that like I never have even experienced yet in this game because I haven't touched that weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like there's 13, 15, something in that ballpark, different weapons, and they all play a little differently, and they all kind of affect how you know, what kind of role you take in combat. And the fact that there's that much, like, breadth of variety of gameplay, I think is really
also
cool.
Just in the short amount of time we've been talking about this, and like I've been watching this footage, like the scenery that you've been in fighting this one monster in has changed dramatically.
This
like, twice.
this place I'm in right now is called the Coral Highlands, I think it is, and it's like it's like this mountainous area that looks like it's covered in coral and like underwater shit. Like it's so cool. But then there's also the desert, the Wildspire Waste. There's the Ancient Forest, which is going to be more just like traditional forest monster hunter area, and
it's all connected seamlessly, right? But
no, it's not. Like these are all separate maps.
Oh, okay.
So they're all separate maps, and they're all like your bases and everything are all separate. So there's no seamlessness, but the area itself is seamless.
Yeah.
So unlike a lot of previous Monster Hunter titles, especially since they went to like handheld, when you're moving through areas like this area or this map probably has like a dozen plus areas in it. And
it's like the hinterlands in Dragon Age, right? Like,
it is, but it's
large...
a lot. It's. I would say it's a little bigger. It's a little more like. It's not just kind of like a big flat open terrain area either. Like there are definitely like paths and shit to get through between one area to the next, and they're also, depending on where you are, surprisingly vertical. Like this area is crazy vertical.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of overlapping stuff going on top. I mean, I don't know. I can't estimate how tall the area probably is, but it's.
Well, remember
nuts.
at E3 y'all were talking about that huge tree that you were scaling.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, where like you're down on the forest floor, and then you can go all the way up to this like giant tree where there's like nests, and there's levels in between, like everywhere in between that. So there's a lot of variety in like area there, which is really cool. Man, I don't know if I should recommend it to you, Nick. I know I'm really enjoying it.
I've already kind of made my decision, but I just have too much. I'm going to wait until I finish at least one of the games that I'm playing before I pick this up.
Yeah.
Not to mention Shadow of the Colossus comes out next weekend or next week. So
yeah, for sure.
It'll probably be a month or two before I finally get around to playing this, but
It's pretty cool. I definitely think this is going to be a game that, you know, it's going to appeal to you if you're into like the RPG loot grind kind of games, if you're into kind of tight gameplay loops of
I mean, to be honest, I haven't played many games that are quite like this, I think.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm having fun getting out of my comfort zone a little bit, like Subnautica, which we're going to talk about in a bit. Like, I've never played a game like that, period, and I'm having
You played Rust, didn't you?
No, never touched it.
No, I don't play Rust.
I have never touched a survival game, really.
Wow.
So, you know, this looks like an experience.
This
that I
would
can have
be
fun
this
with.
would be a hell of a one to start with.
Yeah.
This would be a hell of a one to start with, and I think it would be a lot of fun.
And to be
It
honest,
might
like,
spoil you on certain aspects.
I'm not even against the idea of playing and taking advantage of the social aspects of it. It's
Sure.
just, I feel like for me, it's going to be kind of a, you know, 60-40, and I'm going to be playing mostly solo, and then every once in a while I'll dabble. But if that's a viable way to play the game, then
Yeah, I mean, if you have fun doing
For
it, why
sure.
not?
yeah.
For sure, man.
Cool. Well, great. I'll add that to my fucking list.
Oh, and I think we killed the monster right
Oh, shit.
here.
We'll just roll the footage until the monster's dead. Kill it!
Do we?
Fucking kill it.
No, maybe not. I don't know. Fuck you, goddamn chicken bird.
Anyways,
There it is. Yeah,
Got
got
him.
him. I got the killing blow too.
nicely done.
Fuck yeah.
Chris, how are we doing on time on this segment? All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have one more game to talk about. Like I said, Subnautica. We're going to talk about that. Very excited to talk about that.
We have 2 more games to talk about next.
Oh, shit. I forgot about Celeste.
Yeah.
Subnautica and Celeste. We'll talk about both of those. Good thing there's not a whole lot of news this week, but there's a few things. There's a few things to mention. But of course, if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break.
Subnautica.
God damn it, Carlos. Welcome back to the show. Yes, Subnautica. Let's talk about Subnautica. That game.
Let me tell you
Oh,
about
God.
Subnautica. I played Subnautica for about an hour.
Hit me, Carlos. Hit me
I
up.
don't like survival games a lot. Like I stopped playing Minecraft when they added the hunger stuff in the.
Did you
beta.
play it at all before when it was in early access?
Never. I have never played it.
Yeah, me too.
And I told myself, since I don't like survival games, I told myself, since this seems like the most appealing one out of all of them, I'm gonna go all in.
So you went with the hunger and
I
thirst.
went with the hunger. I went like European extreme.
1 hour
hardcore
was
mode.
all in.
Hardcore mode. You die. That's it. And I said to myself, I'm gonna go all the way. If I die, I'm never gonna play this game again. Like ever. I'm done. Like I'm dead in real life. And I also told myself I'm not gonna like look up stuff online. I'm gonna play this very cautiously. I'm not gonna try to go in over my head.
Yep.
Slow, cautious, plan ahead, careful. Landing pod lands into the ocean. I stand atop of it. I dive into the water, eager to start my adventure. I see this like manatee thing off in the distance. I'm like, oh, that seems like a pretty chill dude. I'm gonna go say hi. I swim up to it.
Those manatees are brutal.
It like farts and swims away, and like its fart like wafts towards me, and I die instantly.
Sounds about right.
30 seconds.
So, is that it? Are you done?
No.
Okay.
So I was like, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. I'm gonna start a new game. Same rules, but this time it's for good.
Yeah.
So I'm dying of thirst because I misused all the resources that were readily available around my pot. Like I used them in the wrong order to craft the wrong things.
Sure. Sounds
had-
like you.
Yeah, I had stuff that was not good for me at the moment. I needed
Carlos had like 38 lockers and one
Yeah,
thing
I had
in one of
38
them.
lockers and no way to like purify water.
Yeah.
I was like, how can you not purify water? This is like some fucking science pot thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the easiest thing to
This
do.
is a science thing.
Just boil that shit, but
Yep.
you can't, apparently. So like my health's already like ticking down.
You're on a
'cause
planet
my,
made of-
my thirst is already like at this lowest thing. And in an act of desperation, I just dive out into the water one last time. Like I'm gonna do something. Like I have to do something. I'm not gonna go out like this. And I see a fish, and I'm like, dude, fuck it. I'm gonna eat that fish. Living things are made of water. I'm sure it'll make my thirst go up a little bit, if anything. I grab the fish, take it back to my base, and the computer says you can use this fish's skin to filter water. It was like a little balloon fish. And I'm like, that's some divine providence shit. So now I'm fully stocked up. I'm fully stocked up on water bottles. And I was like, that's enough for now. I'm going to take a break for a bit. And I haven't gone back.
All right. That's a fantastic way to open this.
And holds dominion over his planet.
I'll be honest. This being my first survival game, I went. Everyone was kind of recommending to do the one just below the hardcore one, where you don't have to worry about thirst and hunger, which is kind of nice.
I think it's called Freedom.
Yeah. Yes,
that's the one I'm doing too.
Yeah, but if you do survival, that's not so bad either. I die all the time in survival, and it just respawns you at your base, and you lose a couple.
You drop
things.
what you were carrying.
No, you drop like a couple things.
Okay. Yeah, is it just random?
Yeah, kind of.
The one I'm doing,
but like you never drop, like it never drops tools or anything. It only drops like consumables,
materials.
Yeah,
yeah. So like it's
things you can get back relatively easy.
It's kind of like it's kind of like
yeah.
But yeah, so this game is. Yeah. By the way, this is footage. I'm fairly early. Like I said, I've only played about 5 hours collectively this game so far. And actually, I was actually glad I captured this footage specifically because this is kind of the first times I've really kind of done something other than just kind of venturing away from my pod.
It's a dangerous area to be, Nick.
I know. It's like I kind of ventured away from my little safe escape pod and like did something other than just scavenging for resources and whatnot. Like I found this like underground cave and I was like, fuck, that cave is so deep. I can't quite make it down there. Like what if I can't find my way out? I can't hold my breath that long. And what I love about it is like obviously it doesn't hold your hand, which a lot of survival games don't necessarily, but it was still really satisfying for the first time in my gaming experience to like realize, like look at what I can make with the resources I have, and then realize, okay, there's this air filter that floats on the top of the water, and then you can make all these pipes. It doesn't tell you that this is how it's used. It just says this is for filtering water. These pipes are for connecting and creating a pipe chain.
Yep.
And I just kind of in my head was like, I'm assuming you can connect the pipes to the filter, and you can just make this connective tissue that goes all the way down as deep as you want it to go. And sure enough, it did. So I was just kind of scavenging as much stuff as I could to make pipes, and then I started creating this pipe chain from the surface of the water way down deep into the cave. And I was throwing out the what do they call them? The not flares
mine or whatever.
No, there's like something that you can leave like breadcrumbs, kind of.
Like
yeah,
there's a beacon that you
I set a beacon so I would know how to get back to the cave from my.
No, sorry. Pod. There's a tool that will let you put like 20, a Pathfinder, 20 little discs that kind of point you towards the direction.
So yeah, this footage is actually the first time that me really experimenting with a lot of the different stuff you could do, and like, it's so fucking cool. And what's great about it is like this feels very like this game gives you a lot of freedom. Like you literally just are floating on the water. I really honestly have no grasp for how big an area this actually is. It seems like it's pretty damn big. And I found this cave, and it wasn't because it told me like to go here and find this cave. I just kind of saw it when I was swimming over. It was like
that's going to be a lot of what happens in this game, Nick. And so for those who don't know, the concept of this game was that there was this giant ship called the Aurora that was flying by this planet. I can't remember exactly why they were there, but anyway, the ship crashes.
Yes,
thousands of people. And so it scatters. There's a giant piece, and you can see it if you're looking at the footage. A giant chunk of it is in one spot, but then pieces of it broke off all around this aquatic planet.
Yeah.
And so all over you will find wreckage. There are dozens of these. There's like huge chunks of the ship that you can find randomly, as well as life pods that you can find that will have. Usually it'll have some kind of something helpful in there, blueprints or something, a data disk that has information, and you can even find some abandoned habitats that maybe some people have been here before. And so that's one of the cool things about this is when the game first came out, or when it was first in development, and Brad and I kind of played it 3 years ago.
I'm also really glad. I'm really glad I kind of waited.
And the same here. Like I had played this game 4 hours.
Yeah,
I played it 4 hours when it was in early development. This was before habitats were a thing. It was before the big giant submarine. You could make it, but it couldn't even take damage. It was a very early version of the game. And I played it, and then one day, I probably played it all in one day. I decided, I'm done. I know they're going to do so much more with this. And I stopped playing it, and the last time I played it, it was 3 years ago. And so I finally, I picked it back up.
And I wasn't originally planning on picking this up, but then they did their final 1.0 release of the game, and the reviews were coming out, everyone was like raving
Dude, it's
about
fucking
it.
great. So I mean, there is an actual story going on in this game.
I like how the story is just thin enough to be there and to exist and to be always cognizant of its existence, but like it doesn't waste a lot of time like leading you by the hand anywhere.
No, not at all.
It's just like you crash land on this planet, find a way to survive.
Yeah.
And like you can pick up radio signals and kind of hear audio diaries of other people and stuff, and that stuff's cool. But like, other than that, there's not a whole lot of story. But like,
So
it's there, and I like
played
it.
this quite a bit more than y'all. I don't remember my exact hour count.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like Steam's open on my computer, so you can't look.
It does show you on the save screen too.
I know, but I'm not on. I'm just saying I can't look right now. I'm probably in the area of. I can. Chris Davis, what does that say?
That says 6.
Subnautica.
Oh,
minus
20.
4. So 17?
Yeah.
17 hours is how much I've played it since it came out. So I'm much farther than y'all. I have a base I've built. It's a fairly rudimentary base right now. It has, an entry room where I have a bunch of lockers, and I have like a battery charging bank where I can take depleted batteries and set them in there and they'll charge. Same with power cells that power my my Seamoth. And I have a scanner room, which will send out pulses and scan for material.
Oh shit! Don't tell me this stuff. That sounds fucking cool.
And I actually just last night when I was playing, I got an upgrade for that I can then attach to it, and it will send that information to my HUD. So if I'm near my base, I can have it point out like, oh, there's quartz here, and it'll just show up, and I can just go and grab it. It's fucking awesome.
Dude, it's
I have a moon pool. So I can dock my my Seamoth into it, and then I have solar panels on the roof of my habitat because I'm only about 100 meters deep, so some light gets down there. Yeah. It's enough for the solar panels to collect some. I have a bunch.
I want to know how deep you've. I mean, assuming you go pretty damn deep.
So
in this game.
So I don't know how deep you can go. I do know that like I said, I made a lot of fucking progress last night when I started my stream earlier than normal because I couldn't fucking wait to play it. And I made a huge amount of progress. So I got my Seamoth to I think as deep as it can go, an upgrade.
200 meters.
200 meters is the first one.
Yeah.
Then 300. Then 500, and I just got the final one, which is 900 meters.
Holy shit!
It's how deep it can go, and holy fucking shit, that's got to be.
I just want everybody to know here.
The Cyclops probably.
I have a bit of a phobia of deep water, and I've been mostly cool. I've been, most of my exploring has been kind of during the day and kind of, between 0 and 50 meters, whatever, and it hasn't been too bad. But like, there have been times, especially when I'm playing with headphones, and I get kind of close to there's like some
sometimes
large
you'll
fish.
hear noises,
dude. Because there's Leviathan
God.
creatures that I've had one encounter with a Leviathan creature so far when I got kind of close to the ship wreckage. And when that thing decides to make noise, holy shit! I had a moment where I like almost leapt out of my skin today. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And it brought like the same feeling of just that phobia of being underwater and not knowing what's underneath you or around you back. And I had this like almost panic
it's pretty
attack.
terrifying.
Which is cool. I do. I also love the day-night cycle. It's so fucking beautiful at night. Like that, seeing that huge moon and then like going underwater and everything glows underwater. Like, oh man,
there's a lot. You'll find there's some areas where there are just like plant life that does glow. Even you're like 300 meters deep, you'll get light from these certain.
This isn't procedurally generated, right? Everyone's world is the same. Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that's different is like where certain things spawn in, maybe a little bit. But I mean, the actual shape of the world is the same.
I like how everything is consistent. So like,
if you drop a bunch of stuff, it'll stay there.
I'm in my escape pod, and I ran out of room in my locker, and I bought 2 extra lockers, but I didn't want to buy a whole bunch of them. So when I started running out of space, I would just go out of the bottom of my escape pod and just start dropping shit. Yeah. And every once in a while, it says I need like those acid mushrooms, so I just like go out of my ship and go straight down to the floor and just pick 2 up and go back up.
I do the same thing with salt deposits out of the water purifier. I have nothing else to do with it, so I just throw it. Like my base is built on top of like this little spire, so I just like stash it under the spire.
And the other thing I got towards the end of my stream last night was what's it called?
A light.
No, a little robot, a
Cyclops.
mech. A mech that you can get in.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I forget what it's called. But I just got it at the very end of my stream.
Built it?
Yeah, I built it. I found the blueprints for it and I built it, and it has like these drill arms that you can attach to it, so you can drill those minerals. You find the prawn suit is what it's called, and it has like a jetpack, so because it sinks if you're in it, it'll sink to the bottom. So you have to be careful where you go with it, because the only
Maximum depth.
like if you go over a cliff, you're just gonna fall and that'll crush. And it does have like a jetpack, like I said, but it only boosts so far before it runs out. Now you can upgrade those, and apparently you can get like a grappling arm, I guess, but I don't have it yet. But dude, I just love the way this game handles upgrades to your base, upgrades to weapons, upgrades to, you have to build the vehicle like station to be able to create the Seamoth or the Cyclops. Cyclops.
You literally have to build everything in this game.
Oh no, yeah. And
right from the get go, even the scanner you have to build the scanner by finding titanium and some other things.
And there are, like I said, a lot of the stuff your fabricator can build, but when it starts getting more complex, you have to have a modification station. But everything you find, you can't just build it. You have to find the blueprints in the world. So you're literally going around, and anytime I see a wreckage, I'm like, oh shit, here's an opportunity. I'll probably find some blueprints here.
Yeah.
And so I love to explore them, and I find the blueprints, and sometimes you'll find blueprints you already have, and you'll get like some titanium or something for it, whatever. But that's the one thing this driving force of here's some wreckage. What's in there? What am I gonna find? Am I gonna find another piece of the? It took me forever to get the laser cutter.
Oh,
I did not get the final blueprint for the laser cutter until I was I want to say at least like 14 hours into this game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I've been enjoying it so much.
I did not expect myself to personally enjoy this as much as I am, but it is so fucking addicting.
Yeah. Oh no, it's I only need one more lithium. I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna find lithium, and I'll be able to build this. And then you build that, and I'm like, oh shit, now I can build this. And it's like that one driving factor. And I don't remember why. For some reason, I was exploring this random area, and I found the ship, and I can't remember what I found inside it, but below it were some caves, and there were all these rubies and shit in the caves. But the problem is that area was 300 meters deep. So my Seamoth couldn't quite get there. I could get right above it, so I could see my Seamoth above me. And so I'd have to quickly go down and scavenge for some rubies and diamonds, and then quickly go back up to my Seamoth. And there were these cave systems, and they were really complex. And so I had that the Pathfinder, and I was leaving dots, but I still kept getting kind of lost and freaking out because I'm about to run out of air. And have y'all run out of air yet?
Yes. Yeah. When it
starts fading to black, and you're swimming towards your fucking Seamoth to get into it before it's just fading.
In fact, that's exactly how this footage ends. I go too far away from my pipe chain, and then I'm just I realize, I'm fucked, but I turn around and try anyways, and it just fades to black.
It makes it seem like drowning would be a very peaceful way to die.
It's probably
which I don't think is true.
Yeah.
I think that's bullshit.
Remember The Prestige?
Yeah.
When his girlfriend dies, and then Michael Caine's at the funeral I had a sailor who almost drowned once. He said it was like going home. And then at the end of the movie, he's like, that was a lie. He said it was like torture. Fuck.
But yeah, no, I love at first I just had, the standard O2 tank, and then I got a high capacity, and now I have an ultra high capacity O2 tank, and I can go I think at least I want to say 3 minutes.
Nice.
Just exploring, as long as I'm not in super deep water. Obviously, the deeper you go, the quicker your oxygen runs out.
I just love that sense of just kind of, it presents you with what your options are and your tools are, but it doesn't expressly tell you what to do or how to use
doesn't.
them. And it's just,
it does. The thing is, they do to an extent. You will find audio logs that will almost be essentially people being this is how you do this, but they do it in a way that it feels
you don't
natural.
realize you're being told.
Yeah, it's oh well, Judy was telling me when she was exploring this area that she saw shark tooths, and they were picking up pieces of metal, and their teeth would fall out, and blah blah blah, and that's how you get their teeth. It tells you in an audio.
I found
log.
A stalker tooth.
A stalker tooth. That's what I was saying. Yeah, stalker tooth. Stuff like that. I think the game does a really good job explaining that. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm 20 hours or when it was 17 hours, whatever.
I fully intend to play the shit out of this game.
When you started playing again, did you pick up the save file?
No, my save file was way too fucking old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when I started playing, it gave me my old save file.
Yeah.
My pre-launch one. Mm-hmm. So it was great. When this came out and I started playing, I already had my base. I already had a lot of shit ready to go. In 2 hours, I got up to the point where I had my Seamoth. I had the high capacity tank. I had all the fucking generators and shit in my base running, water purifier. It's good.
Yeah.
This game is fun. And one other thing I want to say about it is I like to see a survival game that's getting away from like the lo-fi, like axe
Voxel
cutting down
or-
trees,
Yeah.
like old type of like technology, and one that's like doing a sci-fi bent to it, where it's like, I mean, it's like a Star Trek survival game. If you were crashed on an alien planet, but you had your shuttlecraft that had a replicator in it,
Yeah.
like how well could you do?
Oh, dude, I found this one fucking like escape pod where there's like a data thing in there, and the guy's talking about it. He's like, I can't do anything. I tried to make food, and this thing just creates dolls. It's broken. I don't know what's going on.
The
And
fucking fabricator.
yeah, the fabricator broke, and there's like these dolls and random things in his like escape
I like
pod.
the little jokes too. Like last time I played, they didn't have the audio log. They didn't have any story. They didn't.
Yeah.
They barely had like the suit computer talking to you or whatever. But now they got like the one like when you put on the suit that reclaims body like moisture from your body is water. Like they have the little options like turn off the taste filter so you don't taste the sweat that it's reclaiming. Would you like to do that? And it like waits and it's like you have opted not to turn it like
Oh man, this also just from this game is beautiful. Like
No,
that
it
that
is.
first moment where you come out of your skate pod and you just look around you and then you jump into the water for the first time. One of the best. Like
The water does look really beautiful
it
in
got
this game.
so much prettier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, it did.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know what else there is to say about this game. I'm gonna keep playing. I know there is a story. I was talking to a bunch of community members last night when I was playing it. Some beat it in like, I don't know, like they said like 20, 30 hours, something like that. You can physically beat it in that amount of time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I will, just because I am doing a lot of exploration.
30 hours. Jeez.
Yeah.
I want to know something.
Mm-hmm.
If this planet is round, can you like?
if
go
this
all the
planet
way
is
around?
round,
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, if the
if
entirety, if
somebody-
the entirety of the planet is recreated, 'cause
Somebody
it's water.
said it's only a
2 kilometers.
4 square kilometers.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe those 4 kilometers encompass an entire planet, and you're able to like go around.
Well, you're not.
You're not.
No,
a
unfortunately,
planet,
what do they
no.
do
a
to stop
planet
you?
that only
I've never been to
had
the very
a
edge.
fucking
They-
4 kilometer radius wouldn't have enough gravity to hold a whole fucking ocean like that.
also
Who cares?
they probably just put big ass fish that want to eat you at the edges.
Like fog of war or something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
It should be a flat planet.
if you-
like,
what if you-
like you get out to the edge and it's just
It
like
just
water
drops
falls
off.
dropping off into space.
And then it falls off. I knew it.
I knew it.
It looks like Asgard in the fucking Thor movie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh man.
a good
I
game.
cannot wait to play more of this game.
It's one of those games that I'm thinking about it. When I'm at work and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about, oh
Yeah,
man,
for sure.
I found that cave.
It's pretty
I'm gonna
good,
go back and
man.
explore it.
Real quick, just because I want to mention this because I've been putting some time into it. You don't have to put the overlay up, Chris, or roll any footage. I've been playing more Mass Effect. Still trucking through it. Still enjoying it. Just putting that out there.
Well, there you go.
Although I'm still
5-second question.
Good
Have
for
you
you,
ever played
Nick.
Jade Empire?
Yeah.
Should I play that game?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, dude.
Jade Empire is probably one of my favorite things BioWare has ever done. So yeah, absolutely.
No. Because I got it to run with a gamepad on PC, and I'm like,
Yeah,
On Steam?
GOG.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Dude,
absolutely.
I tried
man.
to play the Steam version and it was
What?
hot dog shit.
Hey, dude, I played it on fucking Xbox, the original Xbox, and it was
Hot dog
What's-
shit.
it was
What's-
hot dog shit in terms of like technical specs. Yeah, not great.
What's the berry, the red girls on?
What words?
The
No, like you just
Mulberry.
no. It's like red and
Is it one of
Are
the
we talking
ones
about in a game or in real life? What are you talking about?
in
Strawberry?
Subnautica?
Holly?
strawberries.
Strawberries are a thing, yeah.
All right. Speaking of strawberries, I've been playing Celeste,
God.
which is a fantastic game. Think Meat Boy, but not as fast. So it's a platformer. Really fucking good music. Really difficult. I have.
Did you hear? Chai has not died in this game yet.
Oh wow. I have quote finished this game. Not really. Credits did roll. But
As far as I'm concerned, done.
It didn't. It's similar to Meat Boy. There is essentially a dark world for everything. Every level has a new. Essentially, they just completely redo the level.
Yeah.
New placements of things, new like obstacles you have to encounter. So the hitch with this game is you have a single jump, and then when you're in the air, you have a second like warp jump, which you can use to go in any direction.
Yeah.
You can choose the direction you
so
go.
you can change direction mid jump.
Correct.
It's like bleed.
Kind of, yeah.
Bleed, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you die very easily.
Look before you leap, Nolan.
Yes.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah, no, like I said, it's like Meat Boy. You have to be
spikes everywhere.
So in the game I finished,
Look at that.
I died 975 times. But yeah, there are certain at the end of the level it tells you, how many times you died in that particular level, stuff like that. Anytime, so you, like I said, you have that single jump you can do, and it doesn't reset until you put your feet on something flat, or B.
So grabbing a wall would not reset.
Correct. Or B, there are these little like diamond things that are floating in the air in certain areas that if you touch those, it will reset your ability to do it, like the air dash.
Is there like a visual clue to let you know that your dash is reset?
Yes, the hair. And when her hair is red, you have a dash. When it's blue, you're out of dash.
Oh, interesting.
And so this is when I'm restarting this level and replaying this area, but this is when it introduces you to another mechanic, and it's these like little like weird gravity looking things that you can dash through. So when you hit them, whatever angle you hit them at, you will keep going through that until you come out the other side.
Oh.
This is me trying to find that strawberry down there. Strawberries are collectibles in this game. Every level has.
Okay, I was still trying to figure out what your transition.
Some people in chat understood
atrocious transition.
Yeah, well, we needed to fucking move on. But yeah, so there is a kind of a little bit of a story to this game. It's not too intense, but pretty good.
It's getting a lot of praise though.
Oh no, it's fucking great. I like I said, it's difficult, but it's I think the right amount of difficult. I definitely found myself.
Would you say the same thing about Meat Boy, or is this more accessible than Meat Boy?
I would say this is slightly more accessible
because I just can't bring myself to play Meat Boy.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself beating Meat Boy like in a day or a week.
This is more accessible than Meat Boy, I would say, especially because like so Meat Boy had a little more humor than this. The main story of this is kind of about this girl. Her name is not Celeste. Her name is
not Celeste.
Maggie, Marilyn, Margarine, something like that.
Margarine.
The mountain she's trying to scale is Mount Celeste.
Ah.
And she has gotten in her mind, I'm going to scale this mountain no matter what. And obviously she runs into some issues, some personal issues, trying to Madeline. Thank you, Prince of the Universe. Her name is Madeline. I was close with Margarine. And so yeah, you do meet some people as you go along the way. There's a guy you meet who's also trying to scale the mountain. Some interesting conversations with him. You meet, you find a hotel like halfway up the mountain, and the hotel, the guy who runs it is an interesting character. Stuff like that. And so while I have quote finished the game,
how long did it take you to quote unquote finish the game?
6-7 hours, something like that.
Okay.
But like I said,
you died 975 times.
Correct.
During that 7-hour period.
Yeah, it's like Meat Boy. You see how quickly it resets you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, so every level has multiple different things you can do. There's what's called a B-side. So you will find a cassette tape in the level, which will A, change the music, and B, once you finish that level, you can replay it doing the B-side, which changes things up. And then there's also like a dark version of every. It's like there's quite a bit more to do. Here's an actual story scene of me, meeting this character.
Mirror you?
Yeah, Mirror Me. Who's kind of like, oh, I'm trying to scale this mountain, and Mirror Me is like, you can't do it. Like, you're a failure, and kind of stuff like that. And this actually adds a really interesting kind of like switch on the game. This whole section is everything I do. Like 2 seconds behind me, she follows me, and if she hits me, I die.
Oh.
And so it's kind of like you have to plan out your path through.
To make sure you don't cross.
Yes, but obviously it makes you kind of cross each other. There are certain things you have to touch these 3 buttons in here to open up the path to go on and stuff like that. And they do quite a few things like that. There's 8 levels, I think. Each level maybe takes half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, depending on how fast you are. Each one is very different. It starts obviously at the base of the mountain, and then it goes deeper into the mountain and up the side of the mountain. Then you're in like kind of these cavey areas, and like I said, then you're in a hotel for a while.
Hotel.
Yeah. Then you're in where else do you go? Like the top of the mountain. There's wind. Wind plays a huge fucking factor. I try to get the strawberry for way too long. I can't figure out how to get it. There are certain areas that, like wind, sometimes you have to use wind to your advantage. If you dash, the wind will carry you, but sometimes like if you let go of the stick, the character will go flying. You have to constantly be pushing against the wind.
Yeah.
It's much more. Meat Boy was very tight and very precise.
Yeah.
While this is still that, there's so many more elements in this.
Meat Boy was kind of like it was a.
It was very simple. It was
in terms of like the input you have to put into it. It's very. I mean, like the input, I guess, is actually really complicated. But the actual mechanic of how you interact with the game was pretty simple.
Correct.
This seems to be like there's more to
much more complex.
Yeah.
And later on, towards the end of the game, you actually even get a second dash in midair.
Yeah.
Which completely, obviously, changes how you interact with the world. Things get a lot more difficult too. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Here's an example of me having to get all of these little gems. And obviously, I've done this before. I'm replaying this, so I kind of know what's going on, which makes things a little easier. The first time I did this, it took me way more tries. I don't know how close I am to the end of the level. Yeah, then she starts getting multiples of herself. Yeah, no, it's pretty intense.
Damn. That's cool though. This has been getting a lot of hype.
And it deserves it. And I mentioned it briefly, but the music in this game is fucking amazing. It has a really good soundtrack.
Well, it's an indie platformer challenge. Like most of those tend to have really
do you
solid
know
soundtracks.
Who did the soundtrack to this?
No, I don't.
Give you one guess.
One guess?
Yep.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Yep.
Austin Wintory?
No, Ben Prunty.
Oh,
I don't know if he did
the
entire
FTL?
soundtrack. Yeah, I don't know if he did the entire soundtrack, but he definitely. I was doing something earlier and it popped up like his name was on there.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I haven't looked into it too much further, but yeah.
Some good shit right there.
Yeah. So yeah, soundtrack's fucking awesome.
You gonna play this, Carlos?
Maybe.
I'm
gonna wait for Brad to buy it.
Brad's not gonna buy it. Brad's playing mine.
No.
Yes.
Carlos doesn't want to play yours. He wants to play Brad's.
I think I still got you on Steam.
But I will say I will probably keep playing this. When the credits rolled, I don't want to say I was relieved because I was like, that was kind of short. And now that I hear there's more, there were definitely points in this game. I don't want to say I was seething with anger, but it definitely got pretty frustrated.
I don't want to say that. That is
absolutely what's happening.
When you're on like this, when you're on a particular thing for like fucking like 30 deaths, 40 deaths, 50 deaths, and here's the thing: you don't every time you die, it resets you from where you entered the screen. And some screens are really fucking long. Like you've seen how long I've been trying to do this one. You get farther, and I kept messing up this jump right there, and I don't finish it now, because there's more. Yeah.
Oh no!
It's stuff like that, and now I have to do, and so it can get very frustrating. There are certain times when I get through an area, no problems. Like, first try, just got through it, no issues. And there are certain other ones that take me, like I said, 40 times to get through it.
Do you think anybody's beaten this without dying?
Probably. This game is very. They're being very I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? They're making it very easy for speedrunners. To play it. Like every level, it gives you how long you've been doing it. Like I think there's even a speedrun mode. They definitely were aware that people are probably going to try and speedrun this game and that be a thing.
Chasing that AGDQ money.
Oh no, definitely. And there are also definitely ways you can see that if I do this, this happens, but I can probably do this and actually take a shortcut. There's even you'll in the hotel you can if you find there's lots of secrets in this game. There are a lot of fucking secrets just hidden throughout the game. But in the hotel there's like an old computer you find, and it has like an 8-bit game running on it, which is essentially like it's like Celeste but like 8-bit. And I actually ended up in one sitting beating that. Over 300 deaths.
Holy shit.
But I mean, it's actually since it's 8-bit, it's actually a lot quicker than this. So even when you die, you respawn. See how that took like what, a second?
Yeah.
And that you respawn in like a fourth of a second.
Wow.
So it's really fast paced. But yeah, I will continue playing this probably. I don't know if I'm not gonna like 100% or anything like that. I will try and go through all of like the Dark World levels and stuff though.
Yeah.
Great
Cool.
game. Great.
It does look
game.
cool. It's been getting a lot of talk, so I don't know if it's a game I
Put
can
me on your
commit
Steam
to, but
share, Nolan. Put me on your Steam share.
I'm already at 5 people.
I'm not one of those people.
No, you're not.
Damn you. Anyways, all right. I think that's all the impressions we have today.
Yeah.
Man,
Pretty good show.
pretty good.
Pretty
Lot
good.
of man, video games, man.
Pretty
Video
good.
fucking games. All right. We have a few news topics, just a couple. We can actually rattle through these pretty quickly. The first one obviously happened today.
No, I'm sorry.
First one happened today. Pretty big news. Red Dead Redemption 2 has been officially delayed. Which is, it's strange because they called it a delay. We didn't actually
Yeah, they call it a delay, but we didn't even know it was in a release date of it.
what we had before was like,
said spring 2018.
yeah. Now it is fall 2018. It is October 26, 2018. They said they delayed it for obviously adding polish. Which, you know what? I'm okay with. This spring was already getting pretty crowded.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously it's another one of those scenarios where, you know, it's Red Dead. It's a game I really, really, really want to be great. And I would rather them take the time and get it done and polish it up before we play it. It looks like it'll be out right before Halloween time this year. So that's really all there is to say about it. I know some people are probably upset, but, you know, not exactly unprecedented for Rockstar.
No.
And it's kind of hard to complain about a delay when we didn't even really have a release date to begin with. So that's all there is to say about that. Next, I think we have some Nintendo Switch stuff. So as of this week, Nintendo Switch has officially outsold the Wii U's lifetime sales.
Not surprising at
Less
all.
than a year it took to outsell the Wii U entire lifetime sales. That's crazy. It also speaks to the comparable success of the Switch versus the Wii U. Obviously, Nintendo's in a pretty good place at this point. It was after 3 or 4 years of the Wii U. It was kind of hard to see, this kind of success coming, or like the light at the end of the tunnel. I guess I was like, oh god, Nintendo's fallen so far.
But we knew Wii U was a half measure when it came out. Like,
it definitely felt that way. Definitely felt that way. So yeah. I think it took. When did it come out? When did the Switch come out? Was it March?
No, January, right?
No, because Zelda was a launch title.
No, because remember we saw it at PAX.
We saw it at PAX in January.
In January,
I think it was in March.
It came out like 2 or 3 months later.
Yeah, because it came out
into
same day as
February
Zelda.
or March, something like that. Yeah.
So 10 months essentially is what it took for the Wii U or the Switch to surpass the Wii U.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Also,
NES Mini would have outsold them had they made enough.
Probably
so. Not much else to say there. The last bit of news is actually also Nintendo Switch related. Nintendo has announced the launch of Nintendo Online.
Yep.
They haven't really said much else about it.
Paying for Nintendo Online.
Yeah, their payable online service is going to come out in September. I mean,
it better be a lot better than what they got now if they want people to pay for it.
Yeah, they didn't. There wasn't a whole lot of. There wasn't a whole lot of
September, right?
Yeah, September. There wasn't a whole lot of details to go with it. They just said it's coming. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be $20 a year, which seems much
very cheap.
It's very cheap in comparison to Xbox.
But
and PlayStation.
Is it cheap for what you're getting?
I'm wondering. I have a feeling it's gonna be pretty minimal, comparatively speaking. I'm just conjecture. I'm just assuming. I don't know.
I'm fairly certain it's only going to be $20 to use online. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if
it's
you're
like,
gonna...
there'll be other
online
features.
they've already
They're
had.
starting...
They just put it behind a $20 paywall.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm hoping what it is like a cleaner way or a more well organized way of using their service.
One can hope.
And obviously, I'm hoping maybe that also includes some other features like that we've been kind of hoping for. Maybe like the virtual console.
That would be
Are
nice.
they gonna do like a rotating game every month or something?
Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Are they
That'd
gonna
be
keep
nice.
that?
That's gonna be
fucking
what they do instead of virtual console.
Man.
People ask for virtual console, is gonna say, no, you already get your one game a month.
Oh.
Chill.
Wait, what did you say, Crispy?
I was gonna say SMG Sterling brings up a good point. Are they gonna keep that convoluted ass way of doing
Phone.
online
I fucking
chat
hope
through
not.
the phone
Yeah.
if you're paying for online?
Yeah, better not. So there's
What
not a whole
about
lot to say about it
Netflix?
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I
Well,
think
that's on Netflix.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Netflix
you're
has
already
to-
paying
to
for Netflix, so
design
one way or
the-
another,
The app.
they just gotta
The
add
other
the app.
news that we didn't talk about was Paragon
Oh yeah,
officially canceled, and
this is the weird
Oh,
thing.
the Epic.
Epic is refunding everything.
Whoa!
Well, they're offering refunds.
They're offering if you apply for a refund, you will get it. Any in-game purchase.
the
any-
fucking Epic MOBA that
Mhm.
was supposed to be the
Mhm.
next big hot shit.
Don't they have
Yep.
two? Don't they have Paladins?
No,
Paladins?
Paladins is
No,
someone else.
that's someone
Okay.
else.
Paladins is like a straight up
Yeah,
like fucking Overwatch ripoff, isn't it?
I think so. But anyway, Paragon is officially dead. I think April 26th. I think.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I
they're
can't.
closing the servers for it.
I can't keep track of all this. Like I always get, I get Paragon and Battleborn and
Wait, you still
Gigantic.
remember
Yeah.
Battleborn?
what was the other one? Gigantic.
What was,
Yeah.
what was Bethesda's
Smite is
MOBA?
one that's
Battlerite?
going on.
Something
I
like
can't.
that,
I
yeah.
can't keep them all straight. in
Hey,
my
Greg
head.
everyone was trying to get on that,
Wait,
get
was-
in that money, but
Was
they
Greg
weren't.
doing
They
MOBA?
weren't all good. Huh?
Was Grey Goo a MOBA?
No, it's an RTS.
No,
Chris Davis.
RTS.
It's more of an RTS.
RTS. April
Man.
29th.
4Player
What?
didn't you?
But anyway,
Last.
uh,
Wow, that's weird that they're offering refunds and everything.
yeah.
Yeah. It seems kind of weird because like you already had the game was already
so
a
the thing
failure,
was, the game
and then
was
you're
a-
offering back the money you did make.
Well, no, the game was supposed to be free to play, but they were essentially, while they're still in development, was saying, hey, if you want to kind of
give
help
us some
out, you
money.
can buy some shit before it goes free to play.
Oh,
And you can even buy the game. But since, the game's not gonna become a thing ever. Like, the game is not, like, 1.0. The game
Good.
is not still, like, officially
Like
released. And-
Fortnite, where
yeah.
you pay for it the year before it comes out.
Yeah.
Good
Gotcha.
for them for trying to do right by
But
their
hey, you know
customers,
what?
But
they're
that-
making a shit ton of money off
'Cause
Fortnite.
they're putting all
Seems
their...
like-
They're making the Fortnite money, so they're putting all their eggs in that basket. They're like, fuck Paragon.
seems like a bit of a black eye though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah,
well,
that's
yeah.
all. That's all the news. I
Yeah,
got.
that's all the news we have right now. So that means we can jump straight to.
The community.
There we go. There it is. Yeah. Let's answer some questions from our supporters
First,
on Patreon.
we have 2 new patrons this week.
Oh shit.
KNC Saito. Saito?
Cancito.
Is that with a C or a K?
KNC SITO.
Oh. KNC Saito?
KNC Saito.
I don't know.
Kunik Saito.
Maybe tell us how you say it.
And Dishwasher.
Oh, nice.
A dishwasher has
Vampire
pledged to
Smile.
us on Patreon. Thank you, Mr. Dishwasher.
Thank you guys. I wonder. I didn't get the emails for those. I wonder if I need to send them mugs.
And now some questions from our patrons. First question this week comes from Sir Thomas Thipple.
Oh yeah.
Sir Thomas Thipple.
Thipple.
I'm planning on starting a podcast with a buddy of mine. It's not about video games, so you can rest assured in your dominance. Any pointers you'd give someone who's starting out? I already have the mic and recording equipment needed. Anything that you wish you knew but when you first started that would be extremely helpful. Thanks, and stay golden, pony boys.
So
stay gold,
much.
pony boys.
So much.
Come up with a shtick.
Don't do it.
Wait, do we have a stick?
Uh,
Oh, I guess that's. I guess that's like the afterthought of the show for me, though. I don't know. I guess a lot of people like it, but I don't know.
So I would say definitely don't be discouraged.
Yeah, just keep.
I find it really easy to get discouraged because they say Carlos's mic is dead. I don't know. Also, there we go. Fucking audio. Unless you're like some kind of audio engineer or audio whiz kid already, be prepared.
Make
because
sure you buy new equipment
it
every
sucks.
3 months.
Don't get microphone pop screens that have metal on them because you'll pick up
Especially
radio
if
waves.
you're near a radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of little things. I mean,
I was gonna say, like, for us in particular, I find it's easy for me personally to get discouraged sometimes because of the fact that we literally lucked into an audience because of the birth of Twitch at Justin, and that obviously not everyone's gonna have that luck. Yeah. So going right out of the gate, we ended up building a pretty nice size audience for ourselves when we didn't have a lot of competition. And then as the years went on, this actually also applies to just streaming in general on Twitch, but it also kind of carries over to our podcast. Like we kind of lucked into the audience we have. So I guess I would have liked someone to have told me right at the gate that unless you're really lucky, building an audience can be really challenging. Mm-hmm. And if you even if you have a small audience, that doesn't mean it's not worth doing, or it's not. It doesn't mean you should be discouraged by it. Having a smaller audience is fine. It's easy for me to get discouraged now, seeing some, numbers fluctuate.
I think it's another situation, and a lot of my friends who know about the podcast ask me about it and talk about it. Don't do it. Do it because you want to do it, not because it's something you want out of it. Yeah. Like I don't do this podcast for money. Because I don't really make money. We don't get money. Yeah, all the money we make pretty much feeds directly back into the podcast equipment. Going to events,
to buying metal pop screens that we return immediately,
and so, occasionally travel.
I don't do it and that's I don't worry about. I don't say I don't worry about our numbers. Like it's not enough people are watching. Like that for me is not. That's not why I do it. I do it because I enjoy talking with these guys about video games, and I enjoy the community members that we do have that I've built a relationship with, and that they'll hey Nolan, I heard about this. This might be interesting to you. That kind of thing. That's why I do this.
I think it's good. Like we started out. We've told the story before, but when I first started recording with David and whatnot, before Brad even lived here, and we didn't have an audience. I just went over to his house every once in a while to talk about games. We recorded it. Never really expected anybody to hear it. And then we get a comment one day on one thing, and it was mind blowing. I'd say go into it prepared to have some way of keeping track of your community and keeping in touch with your community instead of just putting it out there and then not really having another way of reaching out to them. I think Discord has been absolutely
100%.
Discord's fucking amazing for our community. So just having some way of keeping those listeners and then being able to have a dialogue with them is pretty important, whether it's through comments on a website or a blog or in something like Discord or whatever. I think that's pretty important.
One last thing I'd like to add. The most important thing I think with podcasting, with any creative pursuit, writing, art, whatever you're doing, is to just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because anything you learn, any advice that we give you isn't going to matter if you're not doing it, first of all. Second of all, experience is the best teacher. It's going to refine over years. It's just going to get better. It's going to get easier. If you go back and watch the first episode of the podcast I was on, I was nervous as hell. I didn't know.
He was horrible.
I didn't know. I knew Nick.
What number
that was
is
it.
This?
I kind of knew Nolan at the time, but I knew Nick and everyone else in the room with Brad and David. I did not know who those guys were, and their personalities are
that was literally
kind of intense. And I didn't I was I remember being in that room for the first time and thinking oh my god, there's a camera looking at me the whole time I'm in there. Now I don't give a fuck. It's just you're.
That was literally born from because I knew Crispy from work, and I was his personality seems like it would be great for a podcast. And Brad and Dave were if you think he's good for it, bring him on. And then Crispy came over, sat down, and like I said, he's nervous, but just keep going with it.
You just gotta keep doing it.
I knew he was gonna be good.
Your first episode will ideally always be your worst episode. So
I don't know. There's an episode where we got drunk.
Dude, but that was great.
That was fun for us. Fuck all those guys. I'm sorry. I love you guys.
The audio was. I listened. I cringe listening to it.
Some people got really unnecessarily angry about that episode. Guys, we've done 500 episodes of this show.
Dude, people used to get really unnecessarily angry about a lot of shit.
I think that still happens. We just,
I don't know. We've got more of a chill audience now. I think back then it was
we've got a smaller audience
dude,
now.
I remember reading comments when I first started where it was if we wanted to talk about a game but I wasn't quite as far as anybody else, people were kick that guy off the fucking show. He's holding everything up. Like, I haven't seen a comment like that in years.
Yeah. For those of y'all who were curious about the episode where we got drunk, it was Mike's birthday.
Yeah, it was.
And he came over for the show, and he got busted out some alcohol. By the end of the show, we were all hammered.
Well, it's just like I had a screwdriver, and he just kept pouring more vodka into it, but no more orange juice. And so by the end of it, it was almost like it was slightly orange juice flavored vodka.
That's how screwdrivers
That's how my
always
New
go.
Year's went this year, guys. By the way, like I started drinking like whiskey, and it was like whiskey and Coke or something. I don't know what it was, but then by the end of the night, it was just whiskey. But by that time, I couldn't even taste alcohol. So.
But anyway, I wanted to
So
come back
it
to
didn't matter.
what Crispy had said earlier, and it's a quote that's kind of always stuck with me. And it's because you were talking about just keep trying, keep going, and it's a master has tried
failed more
sorry,
times.
yeah, a master has failed more times than a beginner has tried.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is you're never gonna get something right your first time or get it perfect every time. You just got to keep going, and the more you do it, the better you'll get.
Yeah.
And hey, like everyone's bringing up things like, Mike. They bring Mike back, and people talking about cocktail time. All those people are doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And the things that they are really passionate about. Mike's really delving into his music and
Going on tours,
and
yeah,
shit. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And the guys from Cocktail Time are
they're making
building,
a fucking
building
video
a fucking game.
Yeah.
We're still very much in contact with them, but like they're doing their own thing. Totally understandable. And we really like it when people understand that.
All right, let's move on. We got a lot more questions to get through. Zero Skies. What video game world would you like to visit and travel? Visit and travel in person? I guess travel to.
Subnautica.
Yeah, I was about to say not Subnautica.
Probably not Subnautica.
Just fucking
Yeah, I would say not Subnautica. It's like
chill
everything.
with some fish
I
buddies.
think we probably answered this question
If I crash
before.
landed on a planet made entirely of water, I'd die because I wouldn't be able to get out of the escape pod. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Man, I would love to go to like Lordran or something from the first Dark Souls, but like, fuck
That's crazy.
that, right?
Yeah.
Like you die immediately.
I feel like I'd want to go someplace happy, like and not frightening in the slightest, like maybe New Donk City.
I don't know the name of the world, but wherever the world is from Senran Kagura.
Wherever that place is, I want to go there.
Is that like a different world with its own name?
I don't know.
Japan.
Maybe.
It's
Yeah. Japan.
It's Japan.
Holy
Holy shit. Man.
jeez, that's
The world of Akiba Strip.
Here's the thing, like a lot of
tough.
the
A lot of
worlds
great-
of video games exist solely because
they're dangerous.
they're dangerous and we don't want to actually go to
like,
them in real life.
Let's see. The world of Fallout? Probably not.
Yeah. Oh, but like that could be fun too.
What about
right?
Little Big Planet? You can just chill with your friends.
Yeah, fuck
And if you don't have any, you can make some.
What about PlayStation Home?
What about
Do y'all
Second
remember
Life?
that? Oh, Second
Or
Life
the,
would be horrible.
Fatal Frame.
The
I'm just kidding. Not at all.
Aperture Science Enrichment Center.
Probably
That would be
not.
cool to see. But you die.
Yeah, you definitely not.
You
What
die.
about Dark Souls?
But you die. Oh yeah, like Yarnum from Bloodborne is so fucking cool. Would love to go there, but no, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like,
None of these places. I think you know what? That's my answer. No, nowhere. No, I can. Everything I've thought of, even when I said New Donk City, I thought about it for more than a
Red Dead
second.
would be a cool one, right? I mean,
No.
that's just the world. That's just how people lived like 150 years ago.
You know, Mass Effect might be cool.
No, like 100 years ago. That was 1911.
Overcooked. Just a land where people make
It's
a
just
lot
kitchens.
of food.
It's just weird kitchens that are trying to kill you.
All right,
I'm
moving
gonna
on.
go with Mass Effect. That
Next
universe
question.
seems pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Next question from Mr. Green Toast. If Kirby inhaled you, what powers would he gain?
I'm just gonna let somebody else answer for me.
Okay.
He would just get really hairy.
See, I knew somebody else would be able to say something funny. I'm gonna go with Harry.
He'd look like a tribble.
God damn it.
Man, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have a very. I'm not very self-aware.
Yeah, me either.
You would. Oh, you.
Could
would,
you type
You would
any
gain the ability to. You would gain the ability to have incredibly passionate, very long, unnecessarily detailed debates about things that do not fucking matter at all.
Wait, you're talking about you or Brad?
Me,
Him.
Oh, okay.
Brad.
Yeah, what bread?
Yeah.
Brad has a tendency to do that as well.
You would also like remember the stupidest detailed shit from like a TV show you saw when you were a kid and not be able to remember what you learned in class yesterday. Like,
I think we all know what would happen if Kirby inhaled Carlos.
You get high as fuck.
No,
dang.
I'm pretty sure Kirby's body would just be stuck in the shape of
Just meme-ify.
yeah,
no.
thinking face.
Kirby would become a meme, a walking, talking meme.
Probably just get really sad.
I think if Kirby
A sad meme.
Yeah.
ate me,
Probably
he would
consumed
just be
himself.
mediocre at everything. He would just be super mediocre, man.
Wait, you talking about you?
Yeah.
Gain the ability
yeah.
to steal tweets super fast. Dude, you know what my record is for stealing a tweet? 6 seconds.
Yeah, he would become incredibly good at multiplayer games, Nolan.
Dude,
I guess.
I saw a tweet from Carlos earlier today.
He'd also
Obviously-
gain a few ranks in carpentry. You're pretty handy.
Two things, real quick. Carlos, I saw a tweet from you earlier today. It was just a picture, no words, of I guess in your living room next to your computer or something, and out of the corner of I could see my face because it was a little
Yeah, the
printout
cutout.
face, just like peeking its head into the shot, just like half my. I was like, that's my face. That was a little weird. Two, I forgot to bring this up to you, Carlos. What happened? What happened on Saturday? Where were you?
Wait.
Lord of the Rings, man. What happened?
Oh.
Did y'all see that?
That was a pretty good bit.
That was really good.
Pretty good.
Okay, so when Robin and I were planning on going to see Lord of the Rings, she bought her ticket. She bought both of our tickets, and she was really, really excited. So she posted it on Facebook. She took a screenshot of our tickets from Alamo, right, which says what seats we're sitting in and everything.
Seats 1 and 2.
He tweets back,
right
and then
next to it?
no.
Oh.
He responded on Facebook with a picture. He bought a ticket for the show and the seat right next to us.
And then returned it.
And I guess he returned it, but like I forgot about it. I was like,
I'm sure it just.
I was like, oh my god,
Right?
Carlos is gonna be there. What the fuck? And he didn't say anything about it. And then the day gets there, and then we're on the way to the theater, and Robin's like, I wonder if Carlos is gonna be here. And I was like, oh my god, I forgot about that. And we get there, and then this couple comes and sits
The
down next
answer
to
is
us, and I was
always
like,
no.
I guess he
The
returned it.
point was to meme you, not himself.
I got you pretty good though.
That was really good. I'll be honest. I was like, Robin had no idea what she was getting herself into by posting that.
All right, moving on. Next
picture.
question from Chai. Between the four of you, come up with a Yakuza story involving Carlos, Brad, Henry, and Jack.
Oh my god, I don't.
You may pick if it's Kiryu or Majima. Don't forget that someone needs to get beat up, or it's not Yakuza sub story.
Wait, who said this question?
Chai.
Carlos
Chai comes up with the most convoluted questions.
Okay,
sometimes.
this is what happened. Brad.
This
Had-
is some Mad Lib shit.
Yeah, no, it is. Brad had to run to the store, so he left Baby Henry with Carlos. So Carlos
That's a
decided
bad
to take
idea.
Baby Henry to the park, where he ran into Jack, and Jack does not like
Babies.
Mexicans.
Oh shit!
So when he sees Carlos
I didn't
with
see that coming.
little Baby Henry, he whips out his fucking monocle and his little cup of tea, and he starts to beat the shit out of Baby Henry.
I think they just call it a
And a
couple.
baby Henry.
yeah.
Oh.
Wait, what is the organized crime in this?
No, he's the British
And
the British mafia, whatever that is.
This is why
The British Yakuza.
Posh.
Nolan is not a writer for you.
Posh lads.
I imagine it would be something similar to like Layer Cake, where Brad has worked for a while as like a very upstarting, like very intelligent kind of like against the grain sort of drug dealer, but now he has a kid, so he's got to get out of the game. But he wants to make sure that he's able to provide for his new family, so he goes on one last score. Like, he sets up one last deal, but the whole thing goes fucking south when Carlos robs the deal and gets some dude and gets like I don't know, get somebody killed, and then Jack is like the fucking gang boss that Brad's been working for, and Jack comes to him and is like, all right, well, you got 24
He's like,
hours.
you fucking what, mate?
I lost $1 million. And he's like, yeah, you fucking
Swear
what?
on me, mum. Bash your fucking head in.
Swear on me, non-slave.
You lost me £1 million, bruv.
Oh, that's
You got 24 hours to bring it back, bruv.
oh my god, you guys! I don't know if is this borderline offensive. I'm not
No,
even entirely
it's not
sure.
offensive.
You can't be offensive against white people.
That is so true. That is so
All right, moving on. Next question from Game Brave. I was thinking of the past and was wondering what
Just
was
the past in general?
Yeah.
You're just thinking of...
What was the first game you played online? Mine was Warcraft 3, custom games specifically, DBZ Tribute when I was like 10. What the fuck is DBZ Tribute?
I have no idea.
First online game for me was probably Unreal Tournament.
Wait, was DBZ Tribute that
Either that or
that
StarCraft.
Counter-Strike mod?
He's at Warcraft 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, some probably off.
My first online game was either Warcraft 3. I can't remember which came first. Warcraft 3 or SOCOM on the PS2. I played a shit ton of SOCOM on the PS2. That was... Trying to get that shit working was a pain in the ass. But when it worked, man.
Mine might have been StarCraft.
I think mine was either StarCraft or Unreal Tournament too.
Well, I installed and booted up Dark Age of Camelot once, if that counts. Probably not. But other than that, it was probably like StarCraft, maybe. Yeah.
I think
StarCraft.
Warcraft 3 is what turned me off from ever playing.
Mine
people
might
online.
have been Duke Nukem 3D.
Online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, like there's online multiplayer for that?
On PC.
Like on the original release?
Yeah.
Damn. I had no idea.
You could set up custom servers for like Doom 2.
Jesus. I didn't know this, guys.
All right, moving on. Next question from Naluffy, who's in chat tonight.
Oh, look.
Nullify?
Naluffy, yep. Naluffy asks, what are your favorite Dragon Ball Z characters and why?
Oh, dude.
Easy answer.
Dude, I love the android.
Master Roshi.
Master Roshi's
If you had to pick a favorite android, though.
I mean, I like 17 and 18 as a package deal, basically. And I especially like how they came back in Dragon Ball Super.
I'm not even sure how that happened.
Well, I mean,
I'm so sad.
Android
I still
18's been around the whole time because she's been married to Krillin.
Yeah.
She never
And-
left.
But she's got more of a personality now, it seems. Like,
Yeah.
she's not just like...
Didn't they make her human?
Yeah, I don't know how that
Kind
works.
of.
I
They,
still...
I think essentially what happened was when they used that one last wish,
They
and
used the
Krillin wished
wish.
for her to have like a real
Yeah, like,
working
at the
vagina,
end-
and that's it.
I'm
pretty sure that's it.
They're wishing for a whole bunch
He
of shit.
didn't wish to make her like a real person, just
Yeah.
make her vagina
Just give her
work.
a vagina.
I'm pretty sure
With a uterus, obviously.
because later on they still reference her as being an android, not as like a person.
Like, that always bothered me because when I was a kid, I was like, no, android is just a fucking robot.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make that into a human being? But I guess it's just, I don't know, cyborg. It's bullshit.
Guys,
But he like throws it in, like they're wishing for a bunch of shit or
Yeah.
something, and he just like throws it in about he wants them to be turned back into normal people, and that's why they like fall in love or some shit.
Correct.
But 17, like in Super, like Goku's going around like collecting fighters, and like Android 17's still alive, and he's living on an island as a game warden. Like he protects, like he lives on an island with
Wildlife.
like dinosaurs and shit on it, and he protects them against like poachers and shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then like when Goku shows up, the two of them fight a bunch of poachers together, and it's like really cool.
So what Green Goddamn says is accurate. They weren't ever actually androids.
Right, they
Most
were
of them. 19 was actually an android.
yeah, he got his fucking head ripped off.
But
You
like
could see the
Zero
fact that
was
he-
a human, and then he turned into an android.
16,
Like,
16 was actually always an android.
Yeah.
But 17, 18 were cyborgs. Ader, I think, was a cyborg.
19 was a android.
Android.
19 was straight up android.
Yeah. But
He
anyway,
didn't even look human.
anyway, that's all wrong. The
does
best Dragon Ball character is Launch.
that
Why? Because she's fucking hot.
Wait, Launch?
Launch.
That's the one that when she sneezes, she turns into someone else, right?
Wait, is
Is
that
it-
from Dragon Ball?
Dragon Ball.
Okay, that's why I don't know.
She's a character. She's this really innocent girl, and she's cute. But when she sneezes, her hair turns blonde, and she goes on a rampage, and she has a machine gun, and she just fucking starts shooting people
shit,
up.
I remember
Dude,
that.
I fucking love
my
Launch.
God.
She was so fucking awesome.
She had like the big puffy like 80s hair, right? Oh,
And
fuck.
gloves and like a bandana.
Yeah.
Red bandana.
Favorite
See,
character.
look, chat's going crazy. Everyone fucking loves Launch. She was
Dude,
fucking the best.
Dragon Ball era Yamcha was great.
I feel like this is kind of... I think... I still... This might be, typical answer. I think Vegeta is, as a character...
Vegeta was always.
I think
my favorite.
Vegeta has, as far... he has, like, the most arc of any
He's the
character, I think,
best.
in the show. And he's gone through so many different stages, and, like, seeing him evolve from, like, a fucking villain to, like, someone who's reluctantly part of the team to someone who has a fucking wife and, like, becomes a family man.
Mustache.
I think it's a mustache. I forgot about his mustache. Yeah.
I love that he like becomes a genuine good guy, but only by like meeting the barest minimum requirements for being good.
Yeah,
you know?
He becomes a good by essentially not killing innocent people.
Well, I mean, he becomes virtuous, I guess, but like he's still just a fucking asshole, and you don't like.
For anybody who's watched Buffy, he's like Spike,
dude. Oh my god, one of my favorite moments in the whole Dragon Ball Z series is the qualifiers for the world tournament.
Yeah,
where they're all like trying really hard not to break the machine so they can get like normal scores, and he just fucking like smashes it, like because he doesn't pull his punches.
Yeah,
I fucking love that.
Like one of my favorite scenes of the entire show is actually during that tournament when he becomes Majin Vegeta.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that whole like that. It was like only a couple episodes, I think, where he was actually.
So I just recently watched that.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're in Boo right now in the Boo saga. Towards the end of it, Kid Boo actually just showed up where we're at. But yeah, it's that whole thing where it's right when he reveals and like kind of Goku figures out that he let Babidi take him over on purpose.
Yeah,
just so he could get more
just
powerful.
because he was mad that Goku. It just that kind of like him like confessing that he's just always been mad, and it's kind of like I don't want to say like making himself vulnerable, opening himself up or whatever. But then like
he becomes like more human than he's ever been.
But the best part about that is the fact that he ends up sacrificing his life. But then he finds out that the whole time Goku was holding back, and he's even more mad because he thought he was winning, and it turns out Goku could have gone Super Saiyan 3 the whole time, and he just didn't. And it's just like, oh god,
man. Also, just shout out. I think there's a lot of really great characters in the movies too that don't get mentioned a lot. A lot of them, I think, some of the best villains of the show are in. They're kind of short lived, obviously, because they're in movies. But I've always been a fan. I liked Cooler, Frieza's brother. I also liked. Is Bojack his name?
Bojack is a character.
Yeah, Bojack. I think that the movie with Bojack might actually be my favorite movie.
Bojack?
Yeah, the big blue guy.
Yeah,
the guy who I remember. I always remember Gohan going. Goku goes in. Goku flies in to kick Bojack in the face, and he like grabs him and then like holds up his leg and just
punches him
right in the balls and then slams him into the ground. Ooh.
I remember
and
that
he punches him so hard in the balls that he goes out of Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
he just like blacks out.
Yeah.
That's so good.
All right, moving on. A couple more questions. Soup Nazi asks, what specific game locations can you look back on with strong nostalgia? For me, it's Besaid Island from Final Fantasy X.
Wait, sorry. Repeat the start of the question.
What specific game locations can you look back on with strong nostalgia?
Oh, okay.
The Besaid Island, the music and the atmosphere brings me way back and warms the heart.
I love Besaid Island in Final Fantasy X.
Dude, it's too soon, but fucking Hollow Knight.
Yeah, there's some good areas in Hollow Knight.
Great areas in Hollow Knight.
For me, there's definitely it's definitely going to be some of the classics. I mean, like Final Fantasy VIII, Blam Garden.
Oh God, Blam Garden. Whoo, good call.
Fucking just bring back memories every time I think about it. Just the turnstile exiting the gardens right before you leave, and there's that guy who always plays cards with you right there, and just that's because that's one of my favorite memories.
I think that's a really good. I hate to keep dropping Final Fantasy locations, but there's actually several really great locations in Final Fantasy IX that I'm very very fond of. The one that always comes back to me is it called De Niro? I think it's like it's kind of like off on an island that has this like ancient library on it. I don't know why I always love that place. There's a Chocobo game on that island too. I think it's called De Niro.
Pretty much.
I don't know. Someone remind me what that's called.
Like every single area in Metal Gear Solid, the original one.
Yeah. Man.
I always find a way to bring this up, but Firelink Shrine from the first Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Majula from the second Dark Souls. And to kind of answer this question and answer that first one at the same time, Dragon Age Inquisition. I really like the castle you get in Dragon Age Inquisition. I like it more than the game. Yeah. Oh man, that was a place where I would love to like live in that castle.
If I get through Mass Effect Andromeda and I still look back on it, overly, a more positive memories on it, I might actually try and play Dragon Age Inquisition as well because I still haven't played
it. Carlos, you got anything?
No multiplayer maps for anyone?
Like I mean, Uncharted, Unreal Tournament 2. Some of those maps, like fucking great memories for me playing those.
Facility from GoldenEye.
Facility from GoldenEye.
Throwing up proximity mines on the vents and the sponsor gets fucked.
Dude, throwing a proximity mine from the upper vent into the stall with the guy and then watching him like fly in the air. It was great. Bunch of Ocarina of Time places. Kakiri Forest, Lon Lon Ranch, the market.
E1M1.
Dude, 2 Fort from Team Fortress 2.
Oh, fucking 2
It's
for
so
it.
cool.
Oh yeah.
It is so cool.
Oh yeah.
I would love to walk around that place.
Fucking
All right, final question for the evening. SMG Sterling asks, bed, wed, and behead.
Wet the bet.
Cell, Majin Buu, Frieza. You clearly marry Majin Buu. Clearly.
Because that
Yeah.
thick.
No, well, but besides his big fat ass,
He can turn people into cookies.
He can turn people into cookies, but he's also just a fucking lovable guy.
Yeah, imagine like cuddling up to that on
Right?
a Sunday afternoon.
Right?
That seems very comfortable.
You fuck Frieza because he's so smooth.
No. Oh, really?
Cell,
Frieza's the worst.
He's slick, you know, sleek.
yeah.
I feel like Cell's strong arms would be really comforting.
No, Cell's wait, hold on. What are you're gonna fuck Cell?
Wait,
I guess.
While you're doing that, he's gonna
wait,
start
is it
squirting-
Perfect Cell?
He's gonna start squirting out Cell Juniors that are gonna come around and fuck you in the butt.
Is it
Maybe I'm
perfect?
into that.
Is it Perfect
I'm
Cell?
assuming Perfect Cell.
I'm always assuming perfect Cell.
Yeah,
because
usually when I think of
imperfect
Cell.
Cell's fucking hideous.
That's why it's an important distinction
it's a
to
good
make.
question to ask.
Oh,
My assumption is when I think of Cell, I think of Perfect Cell. When I think of Frieza, I think of his final form. And then when I think of
You know what my favorite
Majin
version of
Buu, I
Cell
think
is?
Majin
Like
Buu.
my favorite,
No,
the middle one.
Do imperfect Cell and like he just like sucks you up with the tail.
My favorite version of Cell is actually the middle one. Like
Yeah.
between where he looks like a fucking bug and where he looks like the
I
perfect
don't
Cell.
remember what that looked like.
He's very muscular. He's pretty.
Oh,
pretty stocky.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
what?
I don't know. I thought
Really?
I thought I always looked really cool.
When he looks all hulked out.
Looks like
Yeah.
some Resident Evil 2 shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Clearly, marry Majin Buu.
I think it's
The other two, I could go either way.
Dude,
I think I would fuck Frieza and kill Cell.
Frieza's the worst.
He is pretty bad. Maybe you could fuck Frieza after he's been cut
There's
in
no
half.
way he's a quiet lay, right?
Wait,
Like he's just gonna talk the whole time, and that's gonna kill it.
Probably. But
What
so would
about-
Cell?
what about Well, I don't know. What if it's the version of Frieza that looks like
Could
like
you
a
even
xenomorph?
fuck Frieza? Does he have any orifices besides a mouth?
Besides
What
those
about
like
those things on the
square
sides of
ears.
his
Oh
head?
yeah. Just those. Yeah.
What if it was the version of Frieza that looked like a xenomorph? Do y'all remember that? I always
Yeah.
forget
Oh
about that.
yeah, we have the long head.
his
He
third
literally
form.
was a ripoff of a xenomorph.
No, that's his third form.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, second form was
Second
where he had the
one,
horns.
The giant horns. He's just tall and he has like the giant horns.
That was watching.
That's the
his-
one that stabbed like Krillin.
Yeah, watching
He's so
watching
short.
Frieza transform was actually one of my favorite. Like that was like because after watching the Saiyan saga like 10 times in a row and then finally getting to that and then seeing how crazy it got.
Scarecrow.
Oh,
Everyone thought Frieza was a lady at first.
yeah, it took me a while to convince me that Frieza. It wasn't until the Trunk saga where I think someone refers to him as he,
Yeah.
where I was like, oh.
No, I eventually after he transformed, I kind of figured it out. But it was just always kind of like weird, just the way his voice was. But anyway,
Don't they call him Lord Frieza or like
Yeah,
Prince Frieza?
they
or
do.
something?
No, Lord. I
Lord
think.
Frieza?
Yeah. Anyway, that's all the questions for tonight. Thanks to all our patrons for asking those
Oh,
questions.
I forgot about Zarbon.
Fucking Zarbon. Zarbon was kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Anyway, every week we post a thread on Patreon where our patrons can ask any question they want.
All it takes is $1 donation every month
Just
to
one.
our patron, and you can ask us any question you want, and we'll answer it clearly. We'll even go into more detail than you're probably wanting.
Yep.
Usually.
Yep.
More detail than you could ever hope for.
Yep.
Patreon.com/4Player if you're interested in supporting us there. Also, you get 24-hour early access to these podcasts the day after they're recorded, and they don't have ads. Just worth mentioning that. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap the show up. 4-Player a minute. You can do hype, sweat, thank you, fuck you, or any combination of those four. Who's going to start us off?
Carlos is our guest. I would assume we'd let him go first.
All right, Carlos.
Sure, whatever.
Hit us up with your 4-Player minute.
Let's do
So
it.
first of all, big thank you to
You're
Chris.
Hey.
That Chris.
Oh.
not you, Crispy.
Chris Davis for all
The
the
other
hard
Chris
work
in
he
the room.
puts into the videos. Mine came out like
fine wine.
Like succulent.
That number 2.
Absolutely phenomenal.
That number 2 though.
Oh, it's so
Choice.
good.
I mean, that
It's so good, right?
timing on that shit was
Oh, the conversation happening at that
it
moment.
was fucking beautiful.
Oh.
I realized what was
Beautiful.
happening.
I was like, I'm not gonna give him any like information if I want like something specific done. He knows that he's good.
Yeah,
Figure this shit out,
for sure.
dude put together a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
You can find that masterpiece on 4playernetwork.com right now.
My sweat is for February started today. It's the shortest year of the month, which means March.
Shortest year of the month
of the year, which means March is right around the corner. Routine was supposed to come out March 2017.
Jesus Christ.
It's almost a year later.
And no word.
They got us.
They got you.
They got us pretty good.
Oh.
My hype is. My hype is for some
that
Shadow,
made me really uncomfortable.
Shadow of the Colossus next week. Either way, I'm gonna be playing either the remake or the original, the PS3 version. I've been looking forward to playing it again, but I kind of put it on hold because like, I'm gonna play it again and then I'm gonna play the remake. I don't want to play too much Shadow of the Colossus.
Sure,
But either way, I'm gonna play some because that game's pretty good.
it's worth playing either way.
And my fuck you is everyone who is still too blind to see that this remake is
Careful.
You know where I'm going.
Careful.
Might as well. Might as
Careful.
well. For sake of civility, let's just end it right there. Let's just end it right there.
It's a good idea, Carlos. Crispy?
Oh, fuck me. My hype is for. I mean, there's too many good games right now. I'm probably gonna go home and immediately play more Subnautica, and also more Monster Hunter, and also more Yakuza 0, and download that Stygian demo. Maybe
Are you gonna stream that?
Maybe even pick up fucking
Please stream it. I want to be there.
Still Not Dead or whatever it's called. Shit, man. Like I don't know. Like, there's a lot of great stuff right now, and a lot of great stuff coming out.
That's
later
why I'm
this
really
year.
happy I took a 5-day weekend.
Oh God, it's good to be alive, isn't it?
It is.
And my sweat is for the same fucking thing. Like this semester at school, I've got like one of the most intense schedules I've had yet, and I have like no time. like I'm playing in like 2-hour chunks a couple times a week when I can get it, and it's like, how am I gonna finish anything?
Happens
like
to all
that?
of us sometimes.
You know, especially since like I'm still trying to get through Yakuza 0, and I pre-ordered Yakuza 6, and I
When
want
does
to
that
play
come out? March?
pretty soon.
March, I think,
yeah. And I want to play Kiwami at some point in between those two. So
Crispy, don't drown in Yakuza.
I mean,
Don't go. The games are very similar, and it could.
Well, I don't know.
Don't be afraid
Don't
to
get
spit
I
that shit
really
out.
want to play 6.
Don't
I
get
want to play
overloaded.
Kiwami because I feel like I need to play 6. I probably should play it at some point.
You're gonna burn
I
out.
don't know. I'll figure it out.
Sounds like some fucking Deadless and Icarus shit.
I'll
Don't do it, Crispy.
I'll figure
You're
it
gonna burn out.
Yeah.
But he did it anyway.
Yeah.
He did it. I mean,
Don't
I
fly
feel-
too close to the
I
sun.
always do. You know, it's just my hope and my optimism kills me every time.
Yeah.
My thank you for the week goes to Carlos for being here and for telling us about all those sweet games you've been playing.
Dude, I got
You
some
added
pretty good
2 more to my radar. And my fuck you for the week also goes to Carlos for telling me about more games I want to play. Fuck you, Carlos. I'm sorry. I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crispy.
Okay.
I'm gonna do 4 hypes because I can't contain all this excitement that I have bundling inside of me. I'm so excited for all the things. I'm super excited to play more Subnautica. Like super excited. I'm super excited for Shadow of the Colossus, which comes out next week. I haven't played that game in years. Would love to. I know. I'm sorry. I know it hurts you, Carlos, but let it hurt. Let's see what else. I'm actually getting movie-wise. I'm getting excited for a bunch of stuff coming out. Black Panther's just on the horizon, and that's getting really good word of mouth. And
Black
the
Panther.
soundtrack is killer, so killer in fact that I fucking pre-ordered it. Like the tracks
Infinity War.
Infinity War,
Ant-Man
which
and
I
the
still
Wasp.
haven't watched the trailer for.
Holy shit.
Ant-Man and the Wasp looks pretty damn good. We're gonna get the trailer for the Han Solo movie
Tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
No, it's February 5th.
No,
The
yeah,
last
Monday.
DCEU movie, Aquaman, before they blow this whole thing up and reboot it and try to make something good.
Wait, is that happening soon?
Dude, yeah, for sure.
And Mission Impossible trailer's gonna launch on Sunday, I think.
Man, that fucking broken ankle.
Oh God, you watched that video?
Yeah.
Damn!
No.
You know what the greatest part about that was though? How he fucking he broke his ankle on the side of the building. He jumped and his foot hit the building and it just snapped up. No. And then he's supposed to pull himself up and then he runs off the he finishes the scene
because
he runs off shot
and if he doesn't, he'll have to do it again.
So he runs off right off camera and then stops. He goes, "That's a wrap. My foot's broken. Take me to the hospital."
What was this, Tom Cruise?
Yeah. And that shot's
this is him actually breaking.
And that shot is in the movie.
The shot's in the movie.
That shot's in the movie.
So when you watch that scene in the movie, you're gonna be like, "Well, that just broke his foot."
Oh,
it's brutal.
Damn
if
it.
you don't like, if you're like, if
it's
body's,
it's not that bad.
It's a little. It makes you a little squeamish though.
Bad.
Especially if you know it's coming.
About it.
You can just tell that he got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, foot don't do that.
Well, because in the video that's been circulating, they showed it from 3 different angles, and there's one where it's ooh. What else? What else am I excited about? There's a bunch of stuff. I've said 3 or 4 things, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited for all. You know what? I'm kind of excited once again to I want to get back on watching Dragon Ball Kai. I only got a few episodes in before I stopped. I need to stop that because I want to play more. After playing some local matches with you guys, I want to keep playing the game. I don't. Well, I want to watch Kai so I can get to Super.
Do you have Kai?
I got the first season.
So you'll be starting
you can
Super
borrow
by
mine.
2020.
I know it's a bit slow, but I'll get around to it. Maybe I'll watch an episode.
No, it's not that far.
You know what sucks? I popped the disc in my because I have a Blu-ray player in my bedroom, but it's an older, one. And I popped the disc because I have the Blu-ray. Popped it in to watch an episode or two before I went to bed. The Blu-ray player couldn't play the disc.
That sucks.
I don't know why. I think it has something to do with the region on the disc or something. I don't know. It's because it's an older Blu-ray player, but goddamn, I'm gonna get back into that. Yeah, that's all I got. That's our show, guys. Thank you so much for listening / watching. Of course, you can find all of our stuff, all of our old podcasts and everything at 4playernetwork.com. Check it out, bookmark it. I actually made some recent updates to it, like I mentioned at the start of the show. I'm slowly making some improvements to it, so would love your feedback. Check it out. Please also, we'd love to have you guys in our Discord, discord.gg/4players, where you'll find it. You can also watch stream games every single night at 4pp.tv. Yep, that's it. Don't forget to join us on Sunday. We don't know exactly what we're going to be doing yet, but Sunday we're going to be doing something for our 10-year anniversary. Should be just a fun stream, so come hang out with us on Sunday before the Super Bowl. And yeah, that's all we got right now, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. My 4-player minute can wait till next week.
Oh! Wait, I thought you were the first one to go. Oh, no! Oh, my God! No!
Nick, you're fired!
You already canceled it. It's done. It's done. You gotta start next week's podcast with his minute from last week. Fuck! It's in the Constitution.
Oh my God! I thought you were the first one.
No, Carlos was the first one because he's
God
our
damn
guest.
it! This is why
You said Carlos should go first.
No,
No, I
Nolan
did.
said
Oh,
Carl.
Nolan
That's probably
said
why
that.
I got confused.
Yeah.
Would you like to
fine.
do it, Nolan? I'll keep it in. Go for it. Go do it now.
I'm pretty sad. Pretty not hyped.
Hey, at least you got a fuck you for this week.
No, I'll do it real quick. Hype is Subnautica. I fucking love that game. I just unlocked the prawn suit. I'm ready to fucking go more at it. My sweat it's for Dragon Ball FighterZ. I don't know what to fucking think about that game. I love Dragon Ball Z. I just don't. FighterZ has never been my style of game choice. My first fuck you goes to Celeste. Cause fuck the when that game gets difficult, it gets really fucking frustrating. And my second fuck you goes to these guys for not watching fucking Marvel's movies with me. Let's fucking
I'll
do
say it
this
before.
shit.
We have talked about it like 6 times, but there has never been a text like, "Hey guys, do y'all want to come over today?"
Where's the fuck? No,
to
where's
watch the movie?
Let's do it. Get your calendars out right now.
The second week of January, I said, "Hey guys, who's free
Okay.
today? I want to watch Marvel movies.
What did I say? Didn't I say I was good?
I don't remember. We can look it up.
Let's just say. Well, no, it's Super
The
Bowl.
best one is Iron Man
Okay.
3.
I was like, we could do it on Sunday after we're stream.
Lie.
Dude, that movie's so good.
That is a fucking
It's so
lie.
Wait, what?
Iron
You
Man
said
3.
the best one's Iron Man 3.
It's so good.
That's not true, but
Okay,
it's
bye,
not as bad
guys.
as I remember. Anyways,
It's a fact.
I'm not going to
Bye.
do the outro again, but, you know, good night.
All right, I'm going to eat it.